evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, boys and girls, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are about to start now. We are about to start. This is what I'm going to use. We're about to start now. We're about to start. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Can I give 5 minutes for the other people to join in? Then we can start. 5 minutes. I hope it's not that much, 5 minutes. So I'm going to share some of the activities when we are done. When we are done, I'm going to share some of the activities. I've got some activities from this booklet. I was going through them, then I felt like most of them, they sort of sum up most of the concept that we have covered. So this is what I'm going to use, but there are certain activities that we are going to do from this booklet that covers rural and urban settlement. That covers rural and urban settlement. That covers rural and urban settlement. All right. Let me try to bring it as much closer as possible. Okay. So I think let's start, guys, because we don't have much time. Let's start right away. We don't have much time. Okay. So I've got some activities that I got from this book. I think I've shared with most of you. I got it from this book, the Saibono. Okay, I've got it from this book. So let's check now. So we have got classwork. Okay, no. Activity 1. So this is what we are going to start with. Activity 1. As you can see there, I think just tell me if you can be able to see everything. Just tell me if you are able to see everything clearly. Just let me know if it's clear. Just let me know if it's clear. Is it clear, guys? Can you see the questions? Can you see the questions? We want to start. Please wipe the camera. All right, thank you so much. Let me do that. Wipe the camera. Let me do that. I can see it's a little bit faint. Let me wipe the camera. Okay. I've done that. I've wiped the camera. I've done that. I've wiped the camera. Okay. Let me try to bring it a little bit closer. Okay, I think here will be fine. All right, it's perfect. All right. So, guys, this is one of the questions. Of course, we are going to cover both rural and urban. Then we also want time for map work because we can't afford not to do map work. Okay. So let's go through this question now. Let's go through this question. I want to find the perfect angle where all of you will be able to see. Are you able to see this? Are you able? From here, let me just put a ruler here on top. Are you able to see? From here, activity 1, classwork, are you able to see? May you please try to rotate the paper right now. Okay. Are you able to see? I want to make sure. And now, is it visible now? Just tell me if you can be able to see. Because we are more concerned with what is here. Okay. All right, sharp. Let's start now. Refer to the sketch below showing a nucleated village. Okay, a nucleated village. That's what is being shown here. So this type of a question, guys. So the first thing that I want to come to your mind, number one, is you should start thinking of patterns. Okay, when you hear the word nucleated, you should start thinking of what? Of patterns. That's number one. Nucleated. Remember, we are looking at the distance between buildings. Okay, if they are very close to each other, of course, nucleated. If they are further apart, is dispersed or isolated. So when you see this word, obviously what should come to you is it has something to do with what? With the pattern. That's what should come to your mind. Okay, so what should come to your mind is it has something to do with them, with the pattern. Let's look at our diagram. What do we have? That's the first thing you're supposed to do. So we have got village green here. We have got, of course, we can take this. Okay, that is the farmstead, the dirt road, the low bridge. So these are the farmsteads, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see what we have here. Okay, so obviously when you are looking at this, there are certain things that are supposed to come to your mind. Number one, what could be the reason for the sighting of this village? That's what should come to your mind. Obviously, you are saying, can you see this river? Can you see this river? We are analyzing the diagram. That's what we are starting with. Can you see this river? Obviously, availability of water could be one of the reasons. You can see there's farming that is taking place. So something to do. This is you can also talk about the fertile. I mean the type of soil, of course, it could be fertile soil, obviously, because you can see this is a farming village. You can see from what we have here. I'm looking at the map farmstead. Obviously, it will be something to do with what? Arable land. The fertile soils is something that you can also talk about. So we have got availability of water. That could be another reason. Okay, in terms of situation, you can talk about of the market, village green. That's what can come to your mind as well. That's what can come to your mind. So let's start right away. Describe the shape of the village. The shape. Okay. So when you talk about the shape now, it's different from what? From the pattern. We are looking at what? The pattern of the building in relation to the other factors. So that's what gives you your shape. So your shape, we're looking at things such as your round shape, obviously, which is mostly influenced with the common factor or interest. Okay, like for example, there can be a church or a water, then the settlement, the buildings, they are around that common factor or place of common interest. Okay, you can think of linear. That's shape now. It's different from what we're talking about. We say that this is a pattern. So what should come to your mind now when it comes to the shape? Think about what? This is the question. Describe, guys. Describe the shape of the village. Describe the shape of the village. Can you see the question? Describe the shape of the village. Remember, when I introduced, I was talking about this as a pattern. It's not shape. So now it's saying, describe the shape of the village. 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 That's what we are starting with now. So when it comes to shape, guys, what should come to your mind? The different shapes of our rural settlements. Okay, that's round. That's round. Obviously, you can see it's around this. That is your what? Round shape, because you can see how all this. Look at all these farmsteads. Look at all these farmsteads. That is circular. Can you check here? Can you check here? Can you check here? That is round. So which means the shape here is what? Is circular or round. Okay, we can say is circular or round. That is the shape. Okay, it's circular or round. Okay, then in number 1.1.2 is saying discuss two disadvantages. Two disadvantages, okay, for farmers living in this village. What do you think could be the disadvantages of the farmers that are living in this village? What do you think could be the disadvantages? One, I want you to check here the quality, the type of roads that we have here. Okay, the quality of roads, you can see here, dirty road. So which means the quality of roads, it also affects transport. The dirty roads, it also affects transport. Obviously, it's prone to floods. You can see there's also a challenge of floods. Access to the village is restricted when the river floods. So the access to the village can be restricted when the river floods. Why are we saying that? Because check here, or under your key, you can see there is written low bridge. So which means when there is a flood, obviously accessing the village will be difficult. That's what we are talking. That's what we are talking about. Accessing the village will be difficult when there is a flood. You can see Lower Bridge. We have got a river here. So accessing, okay, the village will be difficult when there are floods. Okay. We are also saying that the farmer is bound to communal decisions. Remember, it's nucleated in terms of its pattern. Okay. It's nucleated in terms of its pattern as well. Okay, what else can we talk about? So we have said the access to the village is restricted when the river floods. When the river floods, which means it becomes impossible to access the village. That's basically what we are talking about. Where are we getting that from? We are looking at this diagram, guys. There is the river. Look at your key, Lower Bridge. Okay, so it becomes difficult to access the village when there is a flood. That's number one. Number two, since we said it's more of a nucleated pattern in terms of his pattern, we are saying now the farmer is bound to communal decisions. The farmer is bound to communal decision. That could be the other disadvantage. Are you fine with these two? Are you fine with these two so that we can move? Are you fine with these two so that we can move? Can we move? There's no privacy. Yes, okay. Discuss one advantage for farmers living in the village. What could be one advantage? What could be one advantage? Sharing of farming tools. That's correct. Sharing of farming tools. What could be the other advantage? The village green also provides a market. The village green that we have here, it also provides a market. Okay, it also provides the market. What else? What else? What else can we talk about? The access to water for some of the farmsteads, they are closer to the river. Access to water for some of the farmsteads, they are closer to the river. So there's access to water. Okay. Advantage, of course, in terms of security as well. So are we fine with that? One advantage, are we fine? So that security, of course, is access to water, availability of water. That's correct. Are we fine so that we can move on to 1.1.4? Yes, 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 yes. All right. Write a paragraph of approximately 8 lines. So this is a paragraph question. This is a paragraph question. Okay. This is a paragraph question. So you need the factor, okay, and the qualifier. Yeah. What it simply means, the fact and the qualifier is you are supposed to you are supposed to explain your point in detail. You are supposed to have a detailed explanation. That's how you can be able to get your 2 marks for each point. So you are supposed to have a detailed explanation. That is your factor and your qualifier. That's what the paragraph question is all about. You are supposed to have a detailed explanation. Don't leave your explanation hanging. Don't give us a vague explanation. Vague is something that is not clear. So your explanation is supposed to be detailed. Okay. Write a paragraph of approximately 8 lines in which you suggest sustainable measures. Okay. When we talk about sustainable measures, we are talking about long term. We are concerned about something that is long term, not temporary. Suggest sustainable measures to prevent people from leaving this village to live in the cities. So if you look at this question, it's asking us to come up with strategies of how we can retain people within the rural area so that they don't migrate to the urban area. So if you look at this question indirectly, is trying to assess the concept of rural to urban migration. That's basically what it's trying to do. How do we retain people? How do we make sure that people continue staying within the rural areas and not migrate to urban areas? That's basically what this is all about. Write a paragraph of approximately 8 lines in which you suggest sustainable measures. Sustainable, something that is long term. Sustainable is something that is what? Long term. To prevent people from leaving this village to live in the city. We want to retain people so that they continue living or staying within the rural areas. So here, the concept that is sort of being assessed indirectly is your rural urban migration. How do we try to solve that problem? Okay, what could be some of the answers now? Remember, bear in mind, guys, this is supposed to be answered in form of a paragraph, which means you have your factor and your qualifier. In short, your points are supposed to be fully explained. That's basically what we are talking about. Your points are supposed to be what? Fully explained. I'm seeing your answers create job opportunities, job programs. Obviously, This will cause people, of course, to stay behind and not migrate to urban areas, improve basic services. What else? Creating jobs to support their families. Of course, the government must make sure that they must be available for education. Okay, better educational. Better services. Okay, better educational facilities. I'll take that one. Create more facilities, okay, improve infrastructure. If you improve infrastructure, you are making the area to be accessible, which means you encourage more investment, people to come and invest within the rural areas so that people can have an income, hence they won't migrate to the cities. Okay, I think this is fine. So you can talk also about implementation of the land reform program. Implementation of the land reform program. We are saying now, when people are given land or access to land, they can now be able to farm. So land reform is very important. So they are able to farm. The moment they are farming, it means they can get an income, which means we can retain them within the rural areas. That's what we are talking about. Then also, provision of farm subsidies by the government. We are saying the government can also give financial support in form of subsidies so that the farmers in the rural areas are able to buy inputs and other materials that can help them in farming. Okay, so that's basically what we are talking about. So paragraph question, of course, this one is 4 by 2. It means 4 points and each point will get what? 2 points. That's what this is all about. But your point has to be explained in full. It has to be explained in full. That is your factor and your qualifier. Let's give an example. I'll give an example what I mean by factor and the qualifier. Okay, we have said that implementation of land reform policies. How does it help? If we give people access to land, it means now they are able to farm and generate an income. So in that way, they will be retained within the rural area. They won't see any need to migrate to the city. So that's what I have done. The factor that I have is the implementation of land reform policy. But how is it helping now? We are saying now, people, when they've got access to land, they can farm. When they start farming, they have got now opportunities to generate an income. And in that way, they won't be any need for them to migrate to the cities. Yes, we retain them within their rural areas. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, if we can also upskilling, we can develop them in terms of skills and development. They can use their skills now to generate income. For example, let's say someone who's doing poultry, the rearing of chicken. Okay, they are able now to rear chickens and also sell. And by selling, they are generating an income, which means now we can be able to retain them within the rural areas. There won't be any need for them to migrate to the urban areas. Okay, self projects, you guys, you want us to go back to 1.2? Guys, we said we are starting at 7, otherwise we won't be able to finish. Someone is gonna come now and say, let's go back to 1.1.1. You can adapt, guys, you can adapt, otherwise we are not going to finish. We have a lot of things to cover. Okay, we have a lot of things to cover. All right, let me just do it, okay? So we are saying now the shape, from what we are seeing, this, look at your key. The farmsteads, common factor, you can see, so that gives you your round shape. That gives you a round shape. That's what we have said for 1.1.1. That's what we have said for 1.1.1. Then, which one did you say also you want me to repeat? Because you want to move to the next one. You want to move to the next one. If you are fine, guys, give me a thumbs up so that I can move to the next question. This one, we are done with it. If there's nothing to repeat, can I? Okay, 1.1.3. Discuss one advantage of farmers living in this village. Okay, farmers living in this village, what could be the advantage? The village green here, it provides a market for the cultivated crops. That could be one advantage. Okay. What could be the other one in terms of security? Remember, it's nucleated pattern. It can also be better security. So that is it. All right, guys, let's move on to the next one. Otherwise, we won't be able to finish. Okay. The next one is this one. I have, all right. I want us to look at this, guys. So this is what we have. Another question that is under raw settlement. Match the statements with the sketches below. Write only the correct letter A to G next to the question numbers 2.1.1 to 2.1.7. So what we need when you have got something like this, obviously you are going to match this with these statements. But let's talk about what we can see on this question. So what we have here is the shapes of settlements and the patterns of settlements. What do I mean by that? The shapes of settlements and the patterns, okay? What do we have? The first one, what shape is this one on A? Let's talk about what we have here before we move on to the question. This is a shape, this is a shape, this is a pattern, this is a type of settlement. I want you to tell me what it is. What else? This is another one here. You can see. Let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about the first one. What is it? The first one. Of course, it's circular. All right. The next one. What is it? The shape. What is the next one? What is the next one? The next one, what is it? This one, what is it? T-shaped. It is a T-shaped, okay? What do we have here? This is a pattern. It's clustered. Tin junction. What is this? This is tin junctions. Okay, this is clustered. This one is clustered. C is clustered. Then what is D? D is your weight point. Is your weight point. D is your weight point. This is clustered. Okay. Clustered. Okay. What it simply means, you have got now the nucleated pattern, but now is irregular. We have got nucleated, pockets of nucleated. That's what gives us a clustered pattern. It's a clustered pattern. A clustered pattern. We haven't started answering the question, guys. We are talking about the diagrams. We'll write. Okay, so this is clustered. This is your weight point. Remember, common interest, your water here in Oasis is in a dry. Okay, this is not dry point, it's weight point. D is weight points. Then E, away from the risk of flooding, threat of flooding, that is your dry point. This is your linear shape. This is your linear shape. And this is dispersed pattern. So that's my first thing. Are you able to identify A to G? If you are able to identify A to G, then we are fine. Then we can start answering the question. Are you able to identify A to G, the shapes and the patterns? Are you able? Are you able to identify the shapes? This is a shape, this is a shape, this is a pattern, this is a weight point settlement, a dry point, this is a shape, linear, this is a pattern, dispersed. This is dispersed. Is a pattern. G is a pattern that is dispersed. All right, someone is saying, start again. What did we say A is? Why did we say A is? It's a shape. What did we say A is? What did we say A is? Let's start for the benefit of the other guys, circular. Then what did we say B is? B. What is B? What is B? Tin junction. What is C? C is a pattern. What is C? C is a pattern. C is a pattern. What is C? C is clustered. Okay, we have got all this nucleated irregular, okay, forming an irregular shape. The nucleated patterns forming an irregular shape. That's how we come up with the clustered. This one is a weight point. These are the nucleated patterns that forms an irregular shape. That's how they form clusters. We have got pocket of buildings here, there, and there. That's what we call clustered. It's a pattern. Okay. Okay. Then here is weight point. Then E is dry point. Linear, that's a shape. Lastly is dispersed. All right, let's answer now. The first one, a settlement that is located away from water because of the danger of flooding. What is 2.1.1? That is E. That's correct. That is E here. Then number 2, a settlement that is located near the water source. Settlement that is located near the water source. Which one is it? Located near the water source. That is D, is correct. Then a settlement where farmers most likely can experiment and use modern equipment extensively. Which one is it? 2.1.3, where you can use modern equipment extensively. Which one is it? G, because it's more spacious. It's G, dispersed. So there is your G. There is more space between your building. So you can experiment, you can use modern equipment extensively, which means on a large scale. That's basically what we are saying. So that will be your dispersed pattern, which is G. Are we all fine with 2.1.3? It is because there's a lot of space. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. So our 2.1.3 is G. It's G. Because there's a lot of space. It's more spacious. Okay. So you can experiment and use modern equipment extensively. 2.1.3, are we together? 2.1.3? Okay, sharp. Then 2.1.4, an example of a crossroad settlement from the options that we are given. What could it be? 2.1.4. An example of a crossroad settlement. Which one is closer to that? That is your B. Your T junction there. Then 2.1.4 is B, not A. It's B. 2.1.4 is B. Can you check from what we have here? An example of a crossroad settlement. That is your B. That is your B there. Then a settlement that follows a road or a river. 2.1.5. What is 2.1.5? 2.1.5. 2.1.5 is F. That's correct. Linear. 2.1.5. That is your linear there. Then the cultural feature is usually the focal point of this type of settlements. What is the answer for 2.1.6? Oh, sorry. 2.1.6. All right, let's start with this one. A settlement that follows a road, we have said that is what? It's F. All right. Then 2.1.6, as cultural feature is usually the focal point of this type of rural shapes. I want you to think of the communal areas where there is a kraal at the center. They do this so that they secure their animals or cattle from thieves. So you might find it at the center, then you have got buildings around. So 2.1.6 is what? It's A. It's A. A cultural feature is usually the focal point of these types of rural settlement. Then 2.1.7, the settlement where fertile or flatland has caused the nucleated pattern to be irregular. What is the answer for 2.1.7? That is your C. Here is A. Okay. Can you give me a thumbs up if everything is fine so that we can move on? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up if everything is fine so that we can move to the next one. A thumbs up. Sharp. The next one, what do we have? We have got this. Can you see? Remember, we're talking about the cultural feature at the center. I want to show you something. Can you look at this diagram? Can you see this? It looks like a kraal. You can see here. You can see the buildings that are surrounding it. So we are saying take the situation is more rural. Why we have got a kraal, we have got the buildings that are surrounding it, which means this is for security purpose, to secure the animals that are kept in this kraal. That's basically from thieves. Okay, so is this settlement in the photograph rural or urban? Obviously, you see that this is a rural. This is a rural. So that is your rural. Okay. Then 3.1.2, state the pattern evident in this settlement. What is the pattern that is evident? Pattern, is it nucleated? Is it dispersed? Is it nucleated or dispersed? What is the pattern? Secular is a shape. Secular is a shape, guys. Secular, round, secular is a shape. We are talking about the pattern. We state pattern evident in the settlement. The pattern, guys, it can either be nucleated or dispersed, clustered or isolated. That is your pattern. When it comes to the secular, it's now shape. How can you say, guys, this is dispersed? Come on, guys. How can you say this is dispersed? Can you look at the buildings? That's nucleated. That's nucleated. Okay. That is nucleated here. So pattern, you can either look whether it's nucleated or dispersed. Nucleated. Look at the buildings, guys. The distance between buildings. Can you check here? Nucleated. Okay. You want the difference between what and what? They are closer together. The buildings are closer together. This is nucleated. This is nucleated. There's someone, the houses are close packed, exactly. Dispersed is far apart. That's correct. This dispersed is far apart, guys. Dispersed, guys, this is what we were doing just now. It means some people are not paying attention. This is what we were doing here. This is dispersed here. This is dispersed. This is dispersed here. So let's pay attention, guys. That is dispersed. All right. So the pattern we have agreed is nucleated, right? We have agreed is what? It's nucleated. Nucleated. Okay. Then 3.1.3, classify the settlement identified in question 3.1.1 according to its size and function. According to its size and function. Remember, under raw settlements, what we have? We have got an isolated, that is the smallest, farmstead, isolated farmstead. We have got a rural hamlet. Then we have got a village. So that's why they are saying classify. That's why they are saying classify the settlement identified in question 3.1.1 according to size and function. They want you to say whether it's isolated farmstead, rural hamlet, or village. That's what they want you to do here. That's what they want you to do. So these are the shape. From the rural, the smallest is the isolated farmstead, then rural hamlet, then village. So you can see here is a rural hamlet. This one is a rural hamlet. Is a rural hamlet. That is a hamlet, okay? So we are classifying them according to size. So we have got the isolated farmstead. The next one in terms of size is the hamlet. Then we have got the village. So here is the rural hamlet. This is the rural hamlet here. According to size. This is not an isolated hamlet. It's a rural hamlet. We are doing it according to size and complexity. So the smallest one in a settlement, we have got the isolated farmstead as the smallest, followed by rural hamlet. Then we have got the village. So our answer here is what? The rural hamlet. The village is bigger than the hamlet and the isolated farmstead. So under rural settlements, we have got three. We have got isolated farmstead, we have got rural hamlet, then we have got the village. So the smallest between the three is the isolated farmstead, then rural hamlet, then lastly we have got the village. So our answer here is the rural hamlet. That is the rural hamlet, okay? That is our answer. Okay. Name and explain one physical factor that influenced the site of the settlement. What physical factor do you think influenced the site of this settlement? What physical factor do you think influenced? Okay, someone is saying floods. Obviously, it is located away from the threat of floods. Of course, that one could be correct as well. What else could be? Gentle gradient is also another flatland or arable. Okay, all your points are correct. All your points are correct. Physical. Okay, so fertile soils, flatland, everything is correct. Okay, let's move on to 3.1.5. How has culture and tradition, influence the farming practices of this settlement? How has culture and tradition How has it influenced culture and tradition? Remember, in a communal land, okay, there is collective land ownership. So that's how culture and tradition is influenced. There is what we call collective land ownership. Collective land ownership. That's how culture and tradition is influenced, okay, the farming practice of this settlement. Collective land ownership, a belief system of agricultural activities within a single patriarch or siblings, a family with buildings in close proximity to each other. So there is collective farm ownership, land ownership. That's how culture and tradition has influenced the farming practice in the settlement. We are talking about, okay, collective land ownership. The land is owned communally, is shared. So that's how culture and tradition is actually influenced the farming practices of this settlement. Collective land ownership. The land belongs to the community. Culture, the land belongs to the community. Are we fine with this? People farm traditional. What else can you talk about? The shared farm practices. Shared farm practices. That's another thing you can talk about. Shared, okay, let me write it slowly. Farm practices. Shared farm practices. Shared farm practices. We are doing 3.1.5. How has culture and tradition influenced the farming practices in this community? Remember, everything is communally owned. Exactly, livestock is kept at the center of the settlement. Can I also say that shared responsibilities? That's correct. I've seen someone. Can I also say that they share the profits and machinery? Yeah, it's okay. Since there is collective land ownership, sharing of ideas, okay, shared responsibilities. What else? I'm seeing thank you guys for telling me. Can I also say the share profits? Okay, that's correct. Share ideas. 3.1.5. It says, how has culture and tradition influenced the farming practice of this community? Culture is more like a way of living, how they live, their social norms, their beliefs, and everything. So we are saying now they believe in what we call the collective land ownership. Collective land ownership. That's how culture influenced the farming practices of this settlement. There is collective land ownership. That's what we are saying. There is what? Collective land ownership. That's how culture and tradition, okay, has influenced the farming practice of these settlements. There is collective land ownership, number one. Then we also say that they have got shared norms and values. So they have got shared farm practices. That's something that we have also added. Let's say, is it fine now? Is it fine now? Is it fine now? Is it fine now? The shared decisions, which, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So they said, I want to see the response from Lesedi because you are saying that I'm confused. Lesedi, is it fine now? Lesedi, I'm waiting for your response. Please, please, please respond. Lesedi. Can I say the shared decision on which, okay, that's correct, and please. Come on, hello. Okay, yeah, sharp. Let's say understood. Okay, let's move on to 3.1.6. It says, explain how the reduction in cultivated land would impact the rate of rural depopulation. So we want to define what is rural depopulation. Let's start by defining what is rural depopulation. Let's define what is rural depopulation. Explain how the reduction of cultivated land. Let's define rural depopulation first. Let's try to define rural depopulation. What is rural depopulation? What is rural depopulation? Was the question the decrease in the people living in rural areas? The decrease of people living in rural areas decrease. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so the question now, let's read the question together. Explain how the reduction of cultivated land would impact the rate of rural depopulation. So we are saying now, The people, remember we said that rural settlements is unifunctional, which means there is one dominant economic activity that is primary activity. We are talking about farming, we are talking about forestry, we are talking about mining. So that is the dominant economic function in the rural area, okay? So we are saying in the case of agriculture, if there is a reduction in the cultivated land, what do you think will happen to the rate of rural depopulation? It means if there's shortage or there's a decrease in terms of cultivated land, the rate of rural depopulation will increase. We are looking at the relationship. What will happen if the cultivated land, there is a reduction in cultivated land and the rate of rural depopulation? We are looking at the relationship between the two things, guys. Before, please, let's not rush. Let's understand the question. The relationship between reduction in cultivated land and the rate of rural depopulation. Guys, before we start talking about food security, let's understand the question first. Let's understand the question. It's saying, explain how the reduction of cultivated land would impact on the rate of rural depopulation in the depicted settlement. What will happen? What will happen? That's what basically we are looking at, the reduction in cultivated land versus the rate of of rural depopulation. So we are saying, number one, can I say the first point? The reduction of cultivated land would increase the rate of rural depopulation. Are you following? The reduction of cultivated land would increase the rate of rural depopulation. Why am I saying that? If we have limited land to farm on, obviously we will have more people living in the rural area. Hence, the rate of rural depopulation will increase. So we are saying the reduction of the cultivated land will result in the increase in rural depopulation. That is the relationship that is coming out there. That's what the question is asking. Explain how the reduction of cultivated land would impact on the rate of rural depopulation. Are we together now, guys? Yeah. I want the response from us, and then he's saying it will increase because people will move, because there is not going to be any activities happening. Why? Because we have reduction in terms of our cultivated land. As in, that's correct. So we are saying reduction of cultivated land will result in the increase in rural depopulation. That's what we are saying, because there isn't enough land to farm on. Hence, people leave the rural areas. So the reduction in cultivated land will result in the increase in rural depopulation. Okay. Are we together, guys? People will move to urban areas, obviously. So what it means that the reduction in cultivated land will result in increased rate of rural depopulation. That's basically what we are talking about. Are we together? Are we together, guys? I want to make sure, because are we together? Are we together, guys? Thank you. If we are together, then it's fine. So what else can we talk about? When the soil becomes infertile or uneconomical, what will happen? Obviously, the people will leave again. That's basically what we are talking about. Is either there is a reduction in cultivated land. Why? Because now we have got more people that are in need of land. So obviously, people will leave. Or the land that we are cultivating on that is no longer fertile. So it can also result in the increase in the rate of rural depopulation. Are we together, guys? This is not a paragraph question. This is not a paragraph question. We did a paragraph question before this. We are going to come across other paragraph question. Okay. Are we together, guys? Can we move on to the next one? Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. All right. This is the next one now. This is what we have, but we have to explain the diagram. Can you see this diagram? Can you see the diagram clearly? Thumbs up if you can see it clearly. Let's analyze the diagram first before we answer anything. Let's analyze the diagram, this diagram. Let's analyze it. What can you see from the diagram? Let's talk. Let's talk about what is on the diagram. What can you see? It says, refer to the figure below, which shows characteristics of rural depopulation. That is the concept that is being assessed here. Rural depopulation. Okay. The diagram is not clear. What do you mean? Are you sure, guys? The diagram is not clear. Ah, come on, guys. This is the diagram. Is it clear now? All right. Can we comment on the diagram? What can you see? All right. The concept that is being assessed now is rural depopulation. What did we see? What did we see? We say rural depopulation is. What did we say rural depopulation is? What did we say? Let's start from there. Let's analyze the diagram. We are saying this is the decrease in the number of people living in the rural areas. That is your rural depopulation. So here is being analyzed in form of a cycle, is being analyzed in form of a cycle, which means when we have got the reduction or the decrease in the people living in rural areas, what will happen to the shops? Obviously, there won't be people that will support this business. Obviously, they are going to close or there won't be any trade. Why? Because the number of people with the buying power is decreasing. It means also the business will not be profitable. That is the first one, shop close and no trade. That's the first thing. The shop close or no trade. Why are the shops closing? Because of the deterioration in terms of buying power as people move, as the number of people living in urban areas decrease. So that's the first thing, shop close or no trade. Then less spending. Obviously, if there's less spending, it won't be viable to run a business. Why? Because it won't be profitable. They will end up closing as well, which result in ghost towns where there are abandoned buildings, there's stagnation, there's no growth that is taking place. And when there is rural depopulation, okay, let's say due to rural urban migration, the old people are remaining. The old people are remaining in the rural area, which means we now have an aging population. That's what we are having. With an aging population, the population also is declining. So it goes in form of a cycle, which means there's stagnation. There is no growth that is taking place where we have got rural depopulation. Are we following, guys? From the explanation that I've given, are we together? So we are saying now where there is stagnation, no growth that is taking place, because obviously who is going to support the business? Are we together? Who's going to support the business? The buying power is affected negatively. So that is what is happening. Are we together on the way that I've analyzed this diagram? I don't know if I have done justice on the analysis. Do you all understand, so that we can move on to the question? Are we together? Just give me a thumbs up. Yes. Let's start now. 4.1.1 is saying now, define the term rural depopulation. Here they are saying, what is rural depopulation? That's what we mean when we say define. What is rural depopulation? The decrease in population, okay? I can see most of you know what it is, okay? The decrease in the number of people living in rural areas, of course, is a decrease, okay, in the number of people living in the rural areas. That's what rural depopulation is. Okay, so are we fine with the definition? Are we fine with the definition of rural depopulation? Are we fine? Yes. Let's move on to the next question. Which age group is the first to migrate to cities? Which age group is the first to migrate to cities? The young people, that's correct. The young people is the first to migrate to cities. Please, just say the young people, don't say I'm at 2000. The youth, that's correct. The youth, the young, you can even specify the 18 to 35 age group. Okay, just say the young. Just say the young. I'm seeing someone who say I'm at 2000. You guys. Okay, let's say the young, guys. Let's not say I'm at 2000, please. Let's say the young, please. Some of these jokes will cost you marks, okay? Let's say the young adults or the young or the economically active from the 18 to around 35 years. They are the ones who are likely to migrate. So please, let's avoid jokes. Otherwise, you're going to write this in the exam, then you lose marks. Let's just say the young, the youth. That one is more appropriate, okay? I know some of these young ones are 2000, but let's try to use the geographic jargon. Okay, so can we move on to 4.1.3? Are we all fine with 4.1.2? It's the youth, the young, the economically active. Okay, can we move on? Thumbs up if you want us to move to 4.1.3. All right, sharp. State one characteristic of a ghost town. One characteristic of a ghost town, 4.1.3. What is one characteristic of a ghost town? Abandoned buildings, that's correct. Abandoned buildings. The closed shops, the aging population. What else? Declining population. So those are some of the things that you can actually write about. So abandoned buildings, empty or closed shops, aging population, the crime also is bound to increase as well. So declining population. So that is correct. That is only 1 point. Can we move on to the next one? Give two reasons. Give two reasons why stagnation or no growth occurs in rural towns. Why there is no development in rural towns. What could be the reason? 4.1.4. What could be the reasons for the lack of development in rural towns? What could be the reasons? What could be the reasons? Let's talk brain drain, obviously, lack of skills. People are migrating to the urban areas, okay? What could be the other reason? There is reduced buying power. Reduced buying power. Remember, these are the people that help these shops to perform better, so they reduced buying power. What else could be another reason? High level of unemployment. Obviously, they won't have money to support the economy. Hence, there is no growth that will take place. What else? High poverty levels. Obviously, people won't be having buying power there, money to buy. Poverty, lack of basic services. Okay, so these are some of the things that result in no growth or stagnation. Okay, there is no infrastructure to attract investments. Okay, no infrastructure to attract investments. All right, no infrastructure to attract investments. No growth of economic activities due to lack of skills. Okay, or poor education. What else? No investment opportunities. You can talk about all those things. Are we fine with this point so that we can move on to 4.1.5? If we are fine, give me a thumbs up if we are fine. Thank you. Let's do 4.1.5. 4.1.5, it says, write a paragraph of approximately 8 lines in which you make suggestions on how this cycle of stagnation can be broken. What suggestions can you put in place to break this cycle of stagnation? What suggestions can you put in place? We want to make sure that there is growth in these coast towns. We want to make sure there's growth in the rural areas. That's basically what we want. So what can you suggest? That's what this question is all about. It's saying how this cycle of stagnation can be broken. We want to see growth. We can improve education. Please improve education, provide basic services. What else? Create job opportunities. Please remember, this is a paragraph question, so you need to have a factor and a qualifier. Explain your point in full. That's what it means. You need a well-explained point, because this is going to be in form of a paragraph. Remember, you do not list. It's a paragraph question, which means your point has to be fully explained. Okay. So I'm reading here, promote skills development, bringing business. Okay. What else do you have? Improvement in infrastructure. Build more industries in the rural areas, of course. Creating job opportunities and skill of individuals. Okay. So this will change, which means now we'll start to witness the growth in the rural economy or in the rural towns because of these things that you have suggested. Is correct, guys. It's correct. It's correct. Everything that you are saying is correct. But remember, you have to explain it in full. You have to explain it in full. You have to explain it in full. Are we fine so that we can move on to the next point? Are we fine so that we can move to the next point? Are we fine? Let's move on to the next point now. This one, I'm going to explain the diagram first. before we start with anything. I'm going to explain the diagram. I want you to look at this diagram, guys. I'll try to bring it closer. I want you to look at this diagram, guys. So this diagram that we have, what does it have? It has got the present countryside, rural areas and agriculture. Then here you can see this is where your urban is, here at the bottom. Can you see? Okay. Here now is the future countryside and the inner city centers. So from the first one, what you can see is here there is lower population in the urban areas. Are we together? That's why it is very small. Hence, the distance between the urban and the rural is more on your A here. This is rural urban migration. But the distance between the rural and the urban is more. Why? Because our urban areas have got lower population. Are we together? Hence, it has not yet grown. It has not yet expanded. So the distance between the urban and the rural is more. But if you check now in the future countryside, you can see now the expansion, urban expansion of the urban areas has reduced the distance between the rural and the urban. That's what is happening here. The present, the distance is more because our population is too low. But with the expansion of urban areas now, you can see now the distance between the rural and the urban is now smaller as to compared to here where there was low population in the urban area. Are you following? Let's analyze the diagram first, guys, before we start with anything. I like someone who's writing there. Push factors is also relevant. But do you understand from the explanation that I've given here? Are you following from the explanation that I've given here? We are saying this is the present, okay? The present countryside, okay? Check here, which means when you look here, the population was still lower. Hence, the distance between the rural and the urban was more because the urban area has not yet expanded. The physical expansion, there was greater distance, more distance. But here in the future, what we're expecting in the future, with the urban expansion, we are now saying now the distance between our urban and the rural is now smaller. That's basically what this diagram is talking about. But it's assessing the concept of rural to urban migration. Are you following? All right, can I move to the question now? Can we move to the question? If you understand, can we move to the question? Thumbs up for me. Okay, sharp. So the question is saying, name the process being illustrated by the arrows at A. What is being illustrated by this arrow at A? What is the process being illustrated by the arrow at A? What is the process being illustrated by the arrow at A? Is rural urban migration. That is your rural urban migration. This is the rural, people are moving to the urban area from the future. That is rural urban migration. That is what is being illustrated here. Are we together? That is rural urban migration. So they say the concept, you are not defining. Please, the concept is rural urban migration. So the question is saying the concept. It's not saying define. So we are supposed to say rural urban migration. The question is saying what process is illustrated. It's not saying define. People are moving from these rural areas to the urban area. That's A. Rural to the area, to the urban area. That's rural urban migration. It's not rural urban fringe, it's rural urban migration. Rural urban migration. Are we together? If we are together, thumbs up, please. If you understand, please, thumbs up, thumbs up. Rural to urban migration. That is the process. Guys, stop overthinking. This is straight. Like, this is rural area. This is the urban area. People are moving from here to there. That is rural urban migration. Rural urban migration is simple. Okay. Are we together? What do we call this? What do we call this? Someone is saying, what is happening at B? When people are moving from the urban to the rural areas, that is counter-urbanization. 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 That is counter-urbanization. Thank you. Nsake, thank you. That is counter-urbanization. What is happening at B is counter-urbanization. They are moving now from the urban to the rural. That is counter-urbanization. Can we move on to the next question? Yeah, thank you. The next question reads 4.2.2. List one physical push factor that encourage the process mentioned. Remember, when you're talking about rural to urban migration, we have got the what we call the push and the pull factors. Okay. So when you talk about the push factors, they force people to leave. They force people to leave. When you talk about the push factors, they force people to leave. Guys, take note, it's written physical. Physical. So job opportunity is not physical. Physical push factor. Physical push factor. So job opportunities, lack of housing is not physical. Let's take note. List one physical push factor. One physical. Natural disasters, I'll take that one. One physical factor. Poverty is not physical. The floods and droughts, okay, I'll take that one. Crime is not physical. Job opportunities, lack of job opportunities, those things that you are listing are not physical. It's saying physical push factor. Guys, it's saying physical push factor. Those things that you are listing, guys, doesn't apply. Physical push factor. Basic services, no. Lack of money, no. It's not physical. Lack of sanity is not physical, guys. Physical push factor. Crime, no. Guys, physical push factor. We are looking at things such as your droughts, soil erosion, which affects soil fertility. We are looking at floods, natural disasters such as your earthquakes, mass movements, etc. Those are physical push factors. Okay, someone is saying I should explain the push factors. The push factors, what they do is they force people to leave the raw areas. These are the push factors. Okay, like for example, let's say they are droughts. Obviously, they won't be able to farm. They won't be able to improve their income. Hence, they have to move to the urban areas. So, physical push factor, guys, not if let's take note. Physical. Low living standards is not physical. It's not physical. Okay, it's not physical. Please, 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 please. Let's take note. Let's take note. Okay, I can see some of you are lack of improper infrastructure. That's not physical. That's not physical, guys. Let's correct this. Otherwise, you are going to end up writing the wrong things in the exam. Lack of job opportunities is not physical. It's not physical. We are saying physical. All right. All right, I think I've said enough of that. Can we move on to 4.2.3? One of the consequences of process mentioned in 3.4.1, that is rural urban migration, is rural depopulation. Discuss the negative. What is the negative impact of rural depopulation will have on the rural areas? What will be the negative impact? 4.2.3. What will be the negative impact of rural depopulation on the rural areas? What will be the negative impact? 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 Okay. What will be the negative impact? What will be the negative impact? I want to see your messages here. All right, what will be the negative? 4.2.3. Discuss the negative impact rural depopulation will have on the rural areas. What do we have? Declining farm productivity, that's correct. Ghosty towns, high crime rates, unemployment, of course. All right, unemployment, of course, that's correct. 4.2.3. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. All right, guys. Before we move on to 4.2.4, someone is saying I should repeat 4.2.2. Can someone, what did we say about 4.2.2, guys? The question is saying list one physical push factor. 4.2.2 is saying one physical push factor. Push factors, these are factors that force people to leave an area. So we are looking at things like natural disasters, your earthquakes, your mass movement. We are looking at things like your floods, your droughts. Those are the physical push factor, sort of natural. Brain drain is not physical, guys. Okay, are we together now? Family units are broken. Are we together, guys? Can I move on to 4.2.4? If you understand 4.2.2. Can I move on to 4.2.4? Sharp. All right. 4.2.4, the city border is indicated by B on the scale. Explain why this borderline differs during the present and the future countryside. Okay. So we are saying, let's read the question. Okay. The city border is indicated by B on the sketch. Explain why this borderline differs during the present and the future countryside. Okay, let's go back to it. This border, why does it differ between the present, okay, and the future? Why does it differ? The border between A and B. Why is it different? Okay, sharp. The border between rural and urban, between A and B. Why is it different? Okay, that's what we are saying. Why is it different? You remember I said during A here, there is low population in the urban area. So that's why the distance now is more. But here in B, because of urban expansion, the distance now has been reduced because there's an increasing population in the urban area. That's what we are saying. We are saying now, here in A, there was low population in the urban area. Hence, the distance or the border was more. Why? Because there was low urban expansion here. Yes, that's why you see here it's more. But when you check at B now, the urban expansion has taken place, which is the physical growth of an urban area. It has expanded. Hence, the border now is smaller. That's basically what we are talking about. So there's urban expansion that has taken place, the physical expansion in size of the urban area. So this has reduced the gap or the distance between the rural and the urban. But here in A, there was low population in the urban area. Hence, the distance was more because there were not more people in the urban area. Are we together? Are we together, guys? Are we together? There's someone who's saying, so is this wrong? Explanation is taking place. All right, can you check here, guys? Let me try to slow down. Let me try to slow down. Let me try to slow down. Let's look at the diagram. This is the first thing that I did, guys, before we start answering this question. Can you check here? The present countryside. And this is the urban area. So what is happening here is, if you look at the urban, the population is not that much. That's why you see it's not that big. Hence the distance now, the border between your urban and rural, there is more distance. Are we together? But when you come now to B, where there's urban expansion, which means now the border now between your rural and urban in B has been reduced because of urban expansion. The expansion in terms of the physical expansion of the urban area, it has taken more land towards the rural. That's why you see now the border between A and B is not the same. Are we following? That's what is happening. Here in the present, there was no urban expansion. Hence, the border here was more, there was more distance between the rural, the countryside, and the urban area. But here in B, we are saying because of urban expansion, it has taken more land towards the rural. Hence, now the border, you can see now how close it is now between the urban and the rural. That's basically what we are talking about. Are you following? Is it clear, guys? If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. All right, can I explain for the last time? For the last time. Okay, we are saying in the present, look at how the size of our urban area. We are saying now the population wasn't that much. So here we are saying the distance in terms of the border here it's more. Why? There's more distance because here it has not yet expanded. There is more distance between the rural and the urban. But here now, you can see with the urban expansion now, it has reduced the gap between your urban and the rural. That's why now you see here it's small, but here is larger. What has caused this is in the future, the urban area has expanded or is going to expand. The more it expands, it takes up more land towards the rural. Are we together? That's basically what we are talking about. Hence reducing the border between, the distance between what? The urban and the rural. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the next one now. I think you understand, guys. Number 4.2.5. 4.2.5. Guys, we'll get to urban sprawl, guys. Let's not mix things. We'll get to that. We are still doing questions under rural. We'll get to urban sprawl. Let's not mix things. Let's not mix things. Discuss 2 strategies that the local municipalities of the countryside may have implemented to attract urban households to the rural areas. What can they implement to attract? Remember, we want to do the process of counter-urbanization, where people are moving from the urban to the rural. That's what we want to do. So you're saying, discuss 2 strategies that the local municipalities of the countryside may have implemented to attract urban households to the rural areas. What have they implemented? We are saying now, we have on this diagram, the people are moving from the urban towards the rural. What has the municipality done to encourage people to move from the urban to the rural? What we call counter-urbanization. What have they done? What have they done? That's what we are saying. 4.2.5. They can increase salaries. They can give incentives to the professionals. They can increase salaries, give incentive to the professionals. They can improve the services. You understand? They can build better infrastructure. You can talk about all those things. What else? Job creation projects in the rural areas. You can talk about all those things. Decentralization of industries and so on and so on. Are we together, guys? That's counter-urbanization. That's correct. Counter-urbanization. Okay, what have they done? Job opportunities. So everything that you are saying, guys, is correct. Are we fine with this one? Are we fine? All right, sharp. Let's move on to the next one. Can we move on to the next one? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. All right, sharp. Let's move on to this one now. We want to talk about land reform first. Before we answer this, please, let's not rush. Don't rush to answer the question. Let's talk about land reform. What is land reform? What is land reform? Let's talk about land reform. Let's talk about land reform now. Before we answer this question, let's have just a brief discussion about land reform. What is land reform? The figure below shows various stakeholders discussing the issue of land. What is land reform? What is land reform? Distribution of land is sound more like land redistribution. What is land reform? Land reform corrects the imbalance in terms of land ownership, the action, equitable distribution of land ownership, where the owners of the land reclaim. You are talking about land restitution. Guys, they are Guys, let's not mix things. There is what we call land redistribution. Then there's what we call land tenure. All right, guys, before we answer any question, we want to understand this concept. We want to understand land reform, land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure. But let's start with land reform first. What is land reform? What is land reform? That's what we want to start with. What is land reform? This is when we are addressing the unequal distribution of land. That is land reform. The redressing of the unequal distribution of land. The redressing of unequal distribution of land. That is land reform. The redressing. We are trying to correct redressing of unequal distribution of land. Distribution of land. We are saying when you look at who is owning the land, you would find that it is the minority who is owning the land, where the majority does not have access to land. So we are saying when you talk about land reform, this is the redressing of the unequal distribution of land. We make sure that we make it accessible to those ones who don't have access to it. So the redressing, we want to correct the imbalance in terms of the access or distribution of land. So that is your land reform. The redressing of the unequal distribution of land, that is land reform. But when we talk about land reform, injustice of apartheid, we are trying to do that. That's correct. That's correct. You guys are following now. So we are trying to correct that, where there is no equitable distribution of land. So we are addressing the unequal distribution of land. That is your land reform. Okay. Is the injustice addressed where people forcibly removed? Oh, you are confusing now. Okay. So we are redressing the unequal distribution of land. So what is land restitution? Most of you are giving me land restitution. When we are restituting land, what are we doing? We are claiming back land to the rightful owners. So restitution, land restitution is claiming back land to the rightful owners. So land reform, we are saying we are redressing the unequal distribution of land, number one. So our land reform is actually anchored on three pillars. That is land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure. So these are the three pillars. These are the three pillars that support land reform. Land reform, we are saying that the redressing of unequal distribution of land. That's what we are trying to correct. We are trying to correct the unequal distribution of land. That is land reform. Are we together? Let's move step by step. We are trying to correct the unequal distribution of land when we talk about land reform. Then land restitution. How do we carry out the land reform? We start, one of the principles, land restitution. What do? We are claiming back land to its rightful owners. Are we together? That is land restitution. Then land redistribution. What are we doing? We are saying now the state has acquired land so that it can distribute it to the disadvantaged citizens. That's what land redistribution is now. The state has acquired land, now is redistributed to them, disadvantaged what? Citizens. That's what is happening. Then land tenure. If you check before 1994, the people of color did not have access to land. But with the coming now, the end of apartheid now, they now can own land. They now have access to land. That's the land or the system of land ownership. That is your land tenure. So we have said land reform is the redressing of unequal distribution of land. We want to correct that. Then how do we correct it? We correct it through land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure. That's how we correct the land reform or the unequal distribution of land. That's how we do it. Are we together, guys? So that we can move on to the question. Are we together? Are we together? Land tenure, we are now looking at a situation whereby prior or before 1994, people did not have the right to own land. But with the coming now of an independent South Africa now, they are able to acquire land. The laws has changed. That's part of your land tenure. That's part of your land tenure. So our land reform is hinged on number 1, land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure. So those 3 is what makes or supports the land reform. Whereas in the land reform, we are trying to address the unequal or unfair distribution of land. That is evident. We are saying now, when we look at who has got access to the land, is the minority, whereas the majority does not have access to land. So we are trying to address that. That's basically what we are saying. So for our land reform to become effective, we are saying it's anchored on land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure. All right, sharp. Let's move on now. So we are saying now, if you look at this table, let me just comment in relation to this table. We have got challenges now when it comes to land reform in general, because the state has to acquire or to get land. So we have got the people that are in charge of the land or ownership of the land. We call them the willing sellers. Then the government is the one that is buying this land from the willing sellers, is the willing buyer. So we have got a challenge whereby they do not agree in terms of price. We are looking at the willing seller. What price are they putting their land? Are they valuing their land? Let's say the willing seller is valuing the land at 100 million. And the willing buyer is prepared to pay 50 million, which means there is bound to be a conflict in terms of the valuation of the land. That's why even up to now there is a problem, because they cannot agree on the price. We are talking about the challenges between the willing buyer and the willing seller. The willing seller, those ones who are in charge of land, who are willing to sell their land. The willing buyer, obviously, is the state as the custodian of resources, is acquiring this land from the willing sellers. So we are saying now, they do not reach a consensus in most cases because they have got problems in terms of valuation of the land. So there's a challenge between the willing buyer and the willing seller. At what price can the willing buyer purchase the land from the willing seller? Can they have the same valuing of the land to agree that this land is worth 80 million? Or the seller would want more than what the willing buyer is prepared to pay? That's basically what we are talking about. So this is what is coming as a drawback why we are not able to acquire as much land as possible so that we can give land to the disadvantaged. So this is what is delaying. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, let's answer the question now. Define the term land redistribution. Define the term land redistribution. What is land redistribution? That is the first question. What is land redistribution? I was explaining now, guys, so I expect you now to have an idea. When the state buy land and transfers it to the landless who cannot afford to buy it. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Giving land to the people who do not own land. Okay. When the government provides land to the less unfortunate, yeah, that's land distribution. Obviously, the state has acquired land. Once it acquired land, it starts to redistribute it. Obviously, the people who are being given the land are the disadvantaged, those who do not have access to it. That's how the process of land redistribution is taking place. That's how the process of claiming back Claiming back, that's land restitution, please. Claiming back, that's when you talk about claiming back, now it's land restitution, it's not land redistribution. Okay. When you claiming back, guys, that land restitution is not redistribution. Here we are saying the state acquire land, then it distributes it to the previously disadvantaged citizens. That is your land redistribution. The state acquires land and distributes it to the previously disadvantaged citizens. Don't confuse redistribution with restitution. Okay. 4.3.2. Can we move on to 4.3.2? Give me a thumbs up. 4.3.2 suggests reason why the discussion is so intense in the sketch. What could be the reason why suggest the reason why the discussion is so intense in the sketch? What could be the reason why people here, they are having a dialogue on the table? Why is suggest reasons why the discussion is so intense in the sketch? Remember, guys, there are disagreements. Remember, I talked when I was explaining the philosophy of willing buyer, willing seller, willing buyer, willing seller. There are disagreements. Remember, I talked about the willing buyer, willing seller. At what price is the willing seller selling the land, and at what price is the willing buyer prepared to pay? So those are some of the challenges that are there. That could be the reason behind the intense discussion that is on this. Okay, so we don't say let's talk about, it could be a disagreement between the willing buyer and the willing seller. They are not agreeing on the price. You can include that. Or the landowners want the price above market value for their land, whereas the willing buyer is not prepared to pay that. So that's basically what we are talking about. There could also be negotiations, but obviously there is conflict in relation to the pricing of the land between the willing buyer and the willing seller. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. Are we together, guys? Okay. Yeah, I think we are fine. Thumbs up if we are fine. For 4.3.2, if we are fine. Sharp. Let's move on to 4.3.3. 4.3.3. Discuss two goals or purposes that land redistribution hopes to achieve in the post-apartheid South Africa. What does it seek to achieve? The land redistribution. What does it seek to achieve? This should be easy, guys. Now, guys, this should be easy. What does it seek? Okay, equality. It's the issue of social justice. Let's check something that is to do with land. To reduce poverty, of course, to have equal access to land. Okay, we are saying that to help previously disadvantaged people to become landowners so that they can farm on their own land. So we are saying now it wants to help previously disadvantaged people so that they have access to land. Give people who don't have land. Okay, what else? Obviously, you want to reduce poverty. To help black and poverty-stricken people in rural areas to improve their standards of living. You can also include that. Create employment opportunities as well. It's correct. To decongest crowded former homeland areas. That's also correct. You can talk about all those things. Are we together, guys, on this point? Anyone confused? Are we together? Try to be as simple as possible. Some of these things are straight into the point. Let's not forget to tap the screen. Economic growth, obviously. Can we move on? Thumbs up. I can see most of you. What is confusing you now? Okay. But let's try to link to land access, to equality in terms of access to land. Let's try to link it to that. Let's try to link to the issue of reducing poverty, guys. Let's try to link so that it's relevant, so that you don't get it wrong. So we are saying, discuss two goals or purposes of the land redistribution hopes to achieve in the post-apartheid South Africa. We are saying now, before pre-apartheid, most of the people did not have access to land, which means the land reform is coming to improve or to give, to provide or help the previously disadvantaged people so that they can be able to acquire land. That's basically what we are talking about. It's also there to help black and poverty-stricken people in the rural areas to improve their standards of living, which means it's also in a way reducing poverty by giving people access to land. That's what we are talking about. So are we fine with 4.3.3? Thumbs up if we are fine. Are we fine? 4.3.3? We are fine, right? Sharp. Let's do 4.3.4. In paragraph of approximately 8 lines, evaluate the challenges that authorities, challenges could be problems. Challenges could be problems that authorities and stakeholders have been encountering in achieving these goals or purposes. The goals that we have talked about, that we want to reduce poverty, we want to make sure that the previously disadvantaged communities have now access to land. What we are saying now, we want to decongest crowded former homeland areas. We are now saying, let's evaluate the challenges that authorities and stakeholders have been encountered in achieving these goals. What has made it difficult for them to achieve these goals? That's basically what we are talking about. Prolonged negotiation, of course, prolonged negotiation between the willing buyer and the willing seller, that's correct. The changing value of the land value, okay, changing land values, claim disputes, high prices, what else? Lack of finance and financial support from the government. Of course, corruption is also, what else? It is very costly process. Financial support, disagreement about the prices. So these are some of the challenges that you can write about, guys. Okay, these are some of the challenges. So are we all fine? Can we move on to the next one? If we are all fine, thumbs up for me. You have an idea of what is that is actually required, not required. What is required? Can we move on? Thank you. All right. So we are going to have this question now on land restitution. Land restitution. I'm going to read. This is the next question. The study below refer to land restitution in McLeantown. I'm going to read. The benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. Let's highlight as well. The benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. Our study shows that beneficiaries remain poor 17 years. Okay, so we are saying beneficiaries remain poor 17 years after being given their land back. Okay, what else? Most are unable to generate in a livelihood from agriculture and depend on state social grants for survival. So that is the other challenge. Okay, most of these people that have been given back the land, they are unable to generate a livelihood from agriculture and depend on state social grants for survival. The beneficiaries were able to rejoice at having their land back. They were happy when the land was reclaimed. But what happens? Okay, but they have been unable to escape poverty. They have been unable to escape poverty. This is particularly worrying since one of the main motives of pursuing land reform was to create self-sufficient farmers, able to generate decent livelihood from the land. Our findings shows that land desire to grow crops but lack, they have strong desire to grow crops but lack the support needed. They have the strong desire to grow crops but lack the support needed to start the plowing. One respondent said she could not farm because she did not have money to fence, herd, and keep livestock. Farming would therefore be a waste of time as cattle would walk onto a land and eat her crops. Okay. So this is what we have, guys. This is about land restitution. Do you still remember what we said land restitution is all about? What is land restitution? Do you still remember? That's the first thing that I explained. When we are doing land restitution, we are claiming back the land to its rightful owners. That's what we are doing. We are giving back to the original owners. That is land restitution. So that's what this is all about. So we are saying now, after they've been given land, these rightful owners, they are not deriving the benefits from it. Okay, so what could be the challenge? Because they wanted land, they've been given land, but still their livelihoods are not changing. So this case study or this extract is portraying land restitution as being unsuccessful. That's what it's doing. It's portraying land restitution as being unsuccessful. That's what it's portraying from what I was reading. So claiming back the land that was unfairly taken from the citizens, from the original owners, that's correct. You are claiming back. When you are restituting, you are claiming back. All right, sharp. So we have defined land restitution. We have defined that. Okay. So what could be, if you are fine with the definition, give me a thumbs up so that we can move on to 4.4.2. If you are fine with the definition, thumbs up. Sharp. So, state 2 purposes of land reform in South Africa. Guys, land reform is going to be there tomorrow. Land reform, I'm telling you. Start land reform in detail. Okay. So, what are the purposes of land reform in South Africa? What could be the purpose of land reform? To promote economic growth, to alleviate poverty, for national reconciliation and stability. So the simple one that you can talk about, to alleviate poverty. What else? To redress the injustice of the apartheid. What else can you talk about? Reduce poverty. To reduce poverty. Guys, we are talking about land reform. Land reform. Let's be relevant to the question. To promote economic growth, to alleviate poverty. What else? To redress the injustice of apartheid, where some people did not have access to land, to bring about equality in terms of land ownership. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Can we move on to 4.4.3? Guys, I explained land reform in detail, guys. You can't, you guys are not serious. Otherwise, we are not going to finish, Moose. Otherwise, we are not going to finish. I'm telling you. All right, let's do 4.4.3. 4.4.3. Provide 3 reasons why the people in the case study Fig 4.3 are unable to generate livelihood from agriculture. Why are they not able? Were they unable to generate livelihood from agriculture? What could be the reasons? What could be the reasons? Provide 3 reasons why the people in the case study in Fig 4.3 are unable to generate. What could be the reason? Can you check? I want you, the lack of support. Can you check here? Lack of support needed to start plowing. There's lack of support that is there. That's one reason. What else could be the other reason as well? We are talking about the people do not have finances. They do not have money. Lack of finance, that's another thing that you can talk about. The support that we are talking about is support from the government. Okay. The lack of support, they don't have money, financial support. What else could be the other reason? The beneficiary has been neglected by the government as well. The beneficiaries have been neglected by the government. Okay. Here where it says, our stat shows that the beneficiaries remain poor 17 years after being given their land back, which means there's a sense of neglection. They have been neglected by the government. So these are the reasons. Okay, these are the reasons, which means this, you get the answer from the case study. It's easy. You'll have to read to understand. Okay. Then 4.4.4, explain what the author means by the statement. Explain what the author means by the statement. The benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. 4.4.4. What does it mean? I will post it. Don't worry, I'll post it. Explain what the author means by the statement. The benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. Explain what it means. So people were given land to redress the injustice of the past policies, but no support was given. No support was given to generate income and make an adequate or meaningful living. That's basically what we are talking about. They were given land, but the giving or the issuing of land was not followed by support. That's basically what we are talking about. It's saying, explain what the author means by the benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. They haven't benefited. It was not successful. Why? They have been given land which they wanted, but the government neglected them. They did not support them for land restitution to be successful. That's why it appeared to be symbolic than material. Are we together? 4.4. Is it making sense? 4.4.4. Explain what the author means by the statement, the benefits of land restitution appear to be more symbolic than material. Is it making sense? Is it making sense? We are saying people were given land simply to redress the injustice of the past, but no support was given to make an adequate or meaningful living. That's basically what we are talking about. Land restitution take place, but was there a follow-up in terms of support to make sure that it becomes successful? There was no support. That's why it is not successful. That's basically what we are talking about. That's what we are talking about. Are we together? Are we together, guys? 4.4.4. Give me a thumbs up if it's fine, then we can move on to 4.4.5. Are we together? All right. If we are fine, let's move on. So we are saying, all right, land restitution has taken place, but has there been any benefits that were derived by the beneficiaries? No, because there was a lack of support. That's why we are saying that it's more symbolic than material. Why? The issue, land was restituted, but there was no follow-up in terms of support from the government. Hence, the expected results of being successful was not reached. That's what we are talking about. Is it fine, guys? We want to move on. Let's do, I think it's fine now. 4.4.5. The question reads, in a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, discuss how the government could empower the beneficiaries of the land restitution to help alleviate poverty in South Africa. Okay, so we are saying what happened in this case study. There was no follow-up in terms of support by the government. Okay, so the question now is saying, in a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, discuss how the government could empower the beneficiaries of land restitution to help alleviate poverty in South Africa. What can they do? Of course, they can support them with financial support or subsidies, provide farming machinery. They can do that as well. State support community with tractor, running water. The government can reduce tax for them. That's correct. If you reduce tax, because most of the money that they are making is being taxed. If they reduce, obviously, it makes it also for them to be successful. Support them with training them. You train them so that they are going to become successful farmers. Some of them lack skills, so you have to train them. What else? Educate them by providing skills and knowledge. That's correct. Programs for them to learn farming, education program. Okay. What else? Someone is saying, I'm very fast. Am I, guys? Give them proper jobs. But already we are talking about what can they do to help these guys that have been helped the beneficiaries of land restitution, guys. So let's stick to the question, guys. If we just say provide them proper jobs, we are talking about how can we help these guys that are under the process of land restitution. How can we help them to make sure that they are successful? Then you say give them proper jobs. You won't be relevant, guys. What can we do? The program has already been implemented, but what can we do to help them? That's what we want. I'm not accepting give them proper jobs. I'm not accepting that. Work with former owners, of course, in terms of upskilling. What else can be done? All right, so government support. Okay, the government can allocate a budget. The government can also subsidize their farming, help them acquiring inputs, helping them to get loans, and so on and so on. Okay. All right, guys, are we together? All right, can we move on to the next one? Can we move on to the next one? We want to move on to urban now. We want to move on to urban now. We are done with rural. We are moving on to urban. Guys, we have exhausted, guys. From what we have covered, I think we have touched everything on rural now. We are moving to urban now. We on questions on rural settlement. Remember, our paper is going to be question 1, rural settlement out of 60. Then question 2, rural settlement out of urban settlement out of 6. Let's move on now to urban. We have exhausted everything to do with rural settlement, guys. I think we have covered everything. So let's move on now to urban. Urban. I'm just going to the questions. Okay. All right. This is what we have, guys. That's what we have here. So we have got this. Let me just start with a little bit of notes so that at least you have an idea of what exactly we are talking about. Okay. So just as an introduction, I'll share this, guys. Don't worry. I'll share this. So you need to familiarize yourself with some of these things. Urbanization, ever-increasing percentage of the total population living in urban areas. These are some of the concepts you need to familiarize yourself with. Your urban growth. The number of people living in urban areas increased by natural increase, which is our birth rate minus the death rate. We are looking at urban growth now. What increases the number of people in the urban areas? That is your urban growth. It can be due to natural increase. We are saying our birth rate minus the death rate. That's what can cause urban growth. Or it can be due to migration. That is rural urban migration. These are some of the terms that you need to familiarize yourself with before we start. Okay, I'll go through the terms first, then we can start. Then also urban expansion, which is the physical expansion of the urban areas. Remember, as the population increases, we need more land. So that physical expansion is what we call urban expansion. That's urban expansion. In terms of size, the physical expansion is the population increases, we need more land for the residential areas and so on and so on. That is the urban expansion, the physical growth of the urban area. That's what we are talking about. Then the break of bulk town, develop where one type of transport is replaced by one another. Think about, okay, let's start giving an example of Durban, from the sea, maybe to the road or to the rail, break of bulk town. I don't know if you are following the change of transport, one type of transport replaced by another. So you need to be familiar with some of these concepts. I know you've done it already. Junction town, develop where there's joining of transport routes. That's in junction town. Then gap towns, develop in a gap of a mountain. These are some of the concepts that you have already covered with your teachers. Okay. Then some of the concepts as well. Here, urban growth, we have talked about it. Urban expansion, we have talked about it as well. What we have, I think we can talk about the rate speed. Whenever you hear about the rate of urbanization, think about the speed. The speed urbanization occurred over time. Is it fast or is it slow? So these are some of the concepts that I want you to familiar with before we start with the question. Then level, we are comparing now. When we say level, we are comparing. This is the percentage of people living in urban areas compared to the rural areas. That is your level. Rate, the speed over time, the changes that are taking place, is it increasing or decreasing? So the level, we are comparing rural and urban in terms of the number of people living in both areas. Okay. Then urban sprawl, the spreading of urban developments, formless development. That's basically what we are talking about. These are some of the terms, of course, that we can talk about. Site, of course. Let's go to the question, guys, so that we don't waste time. Let's go to the question. Okay. So, yes, the question. What do we have here? We have got a central place. Obviously, when you talk about a central place, it can be a town that provides goods and services to the surrounding. Can be market area or the rural areas. Okay, that is your central place. You can see here, we have got our central place. It provides goods and services to the surrounding rural areas or to the surrounding market area. That is your central place. So these are the different types of towns that we have now. We go to our key: mine, urban area, university, farms, roads, railway, and mountains. So we have got these different types of urban areas. We have got specialized. Like, for example, let's talk of which one can we talk of? Okay, Kimberley, more into mining. You get it? What I'm talking about. Let's talk of Raspenberg. It's more of a mining town. That's what makes it a specialized town. That's basically what we are talking about. That's what makes it more of a specialized town. Then when you talk about the break of bulk, think of Durban from the sea. Maybe we are saying changing the form of transport from the sea to rail or road. Break of bulk. Junction, where the road meets, obviously. Okay. A Cape Town, you find it obviously between mountains. That's what we have here. So let's start now with the first question now. It reads, the data compares South Africa recent and predicted urbanization levels in global trends. That's what we have. The data below compares South Africa's recent and predicted urbanization levels with global trends. The rate of urbanization, that's basically what we are more interested in now. So we are saying now, when you're looking at this now, what do we have? We are comparing South Africa with the predicted urbanization level with the global trends. That's why we've got South Africa here. We have Africa, we have Europe, and the world. So we are comparing. What comes to your mind when you talk about comparing? What comes to your mind when it comes to comparing? We are comparing the rate and the level, of course. So you'll have a diagram like this. Then you've got the first question. Differentiate between the level and the rate of urbanization. What is the difference between the level and rate of urbanization? What is the difference? What is the difference between the level? Percentage of rate, percentage and rate of speed, of course. What is the difference? Rate, we are looking at the amount by which this percentage increases from year to year. The level, we are looking at the percentage of the total population in urban settlements. Obviously, level, the comparison with the rural. So level, it brings out an aspect of comparison. Then the rate, we are looking at the speed, the changes that are taking place, the amount by which the percentage increases year after year. So that's what you need to be aware of. When we are looking at the level, we are comparing, there is a comparison. Then here we are looking at the speed of change that is taking place. So level refers to the percentage. It refers to the percentage of the total population in urban settlements, of course, as compared to the rural. Then the rate, it measures the amount by which this percentage increases from year to year. How it's increasing is changing from year to year is your rate, the speed at which it's changing. Okay, that's what your rate is. Is it fine, guys? Is it fine? 1.1.1, is it fine? Level and rate. Level and rate. Level refers to the percentage of the total population in urban settlements. Obviously, there is an aspect of comparison, the urban and the rural. Then your rate, the speed now. We are saying now, the levels in terms of total population, when we compare now, we are saying now, the amount by which this percentage increase from year to year, the changes that are taking place, that becomes your what? Your rate. Okay. Are we together, guys? All right, sharp. 1.1.2, name the region shown in table depicting the highest urbanization level, which has got the higher urbanization level. When you check here, which one is showing the higher urbanization level? 1.1.2 from the table. Which one is more urbanized? Can you check here? I want you to check from 1995. This is your Europe. If you compare 70, 71, 72, here in 2040, the projected is 79.9. So it's the most urbanized there. You can see. The name the region that's the highest urbanization level. So you can see it is Europe. That is the answer, Europe. Okay. Then 1.1.3, determine the region, Africa or Europe, that demonstrates the lowest rate of urbanization over the entire period depicted on the table. That shows what? the lowest rate of urbanization, the speed of urbanization. Which one shows the lowest rate of urbanization? Which one shows the lowest rate of urbanization? Can you see? We are comparing Africa. Check here. Africa from 33.9 to 35 to 37. Here you can see the changes has not been that that much, which means the least there would be Europe. It's saying determine the region, Africa or Europe, that demonstrates the lowest rate of urbanization over the entire period depicted on the table. I want you to check. Can you check the figures under Africa and Europe, guys? Check in 1995. Africa was 33.9 and Europe was 70.3. Then check in 2000. Africa moved from 33.9 to 35.6 and Europe moved from 70.3 to 70.8. So which one is faster from 95 to 2000? You can see it's Africa, eh? So it means this one is slower. Even if you can check Africa here in terms of its change is faster, then Europe is slower. Even if the numbers are high, but it is slower. Okay, are we together? From 70.3 to 79.9. Here from 33.9 to 52.6. You can see that it's Europe that has got the lowest. That has got the lowest rate of urbanization in terms of growth. We are comparing now. It is highly urbanized, but we are saying in terms of the growth that has taken place, the rate. This one is low. The Europe, check the numbers. We are looking at the numbers, guys. We are looking at the numbers. Is it clear now? We are comparing the numbers. You can be tempted to say Europe because the numbers are big. It is the most urbanized, but the rate now of urbanization is lower, the changes that are taking place in Europe than in Africa. That's basically what we are talking about. But when we talk about the level, this one is higher. That is Europe. So the answer there is Europe. Okay. Then 1.1.4 suggests reasons for the increase in counter-urbanization, especially in developed countries. So what is counter-urbanization? We need to have an idea of what counter-urbanization is. What is counter-urbanization? This is when people are migrating from the urban areas to the rural areas. That's what we call counter-urbanization. When people are migrating from the urban to the rural. Remember, we are used, the migration that we are used to is the one from the rural to the urban. But now it's counter, it's from the urban to the rural. That's counter-urbanization. So the question says, suggest reason for the increase in counter-urbanization, especially in developed countries. Why are people migrating from the urban areas to the rural area? Why are they migrating? Okay, some are overcrowded. What do we have? Large numbers of people migrating from the urban to the rural. Crime rate is increasing, overcrowding. What else? Some want private space. Of course, the difference in terms of land values, obviously in the rural areas, the land values are what? They are low. Okay. What else? The growth of IT, which means people can work from home. The advancement in terms of information technology, it means people can now work from home. You don't need to be in the urban areas in order for you to do your work. You can even work from the rural areas as long as you have got good network. So the growth of IT has also made it possible that people can work from home. There's also availability of efficient transport, which means people can travel from the rural to the urban where they work. So hence, they are moving from the urban to the rural. So what else? High urban expansion obviously is reducing the gap. Okay, noise pollution, they're moving away from that. Island values, it's expensive land in the urban and it's cheaper in the rural. Okay, that's correct. Are we together, guys? Do we all understand counter-urbanization? You'll see tomorrow in the exam. Please, counter-urbanization. Know it. Know it. Can we move on? Can we move on? Then 1.1.5, it reads, account for the rapid rate of urbanization in South Africa between 1995 and 2000. Account for the rapid urbanization urbanization, the speed rate, the rapid rate of urbanization, the speed at which urbanization took place after 1994. Okay, what could be the reason behind that? Account for the rapid rate of urbanization in South Africa between 1995 and 2000. What could be the reason? 1.1.5, what could be the reason? What happened to the end of apartheid? That's correct. End of apartheid. You can talk about the natural growth. It can also be the reason. Rural urban migration. What else? We have got immigrants and refugees from other countries as well. Immigrants and refugees from other countries is also contributed to the rapid rate of urbanization. We have got immigrants and refugees from other countries. More job opportunities, okay? More people relocated, the rural urban migration, that's what we are talking about. Okay, so are we fine with 1.1.5? It's only 2 points. Are we fine? Are we fine? Of course, we are talking about the immigrants and refugees from other countries. It also increased, okay, the rate of urbanization. Let's move on to 1.1.6. Explain some of the challenges that have resulted from an increasing level of urbanization in South Africa. What are some of the challenges that is actually taking place as a result of the increasing level of urbanization in South Africa? What are some of the challenges? This question has more to do with urban settlement issues. What are some of the challenges? Increase in crime rates, overpopulation, overcrowding, poor services, traffic congestion, that's correct. What else? The increase in social vices such as crime, prostitution, lack of service delivery. What else? That's correct. High demand for jobs, of course, high level of unemployment as people are moving into the urban areas. What else? Increasing poverty and unemployment. You can talk about that as well. The mushrooming of informal settlements, which means we now have more informal settlement. Mushrooming of informal settlements. We have got more informal settlement, housing shortages, overcrowding. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. So this one, you are fine with this one. Can we move on to the next one? Can we move on to the next one, please? Can we move on to the next one? Okay. To the next one. Can we move to the next one? Sharp. So we have got this now. This is the next question. Refer to the cartoon below on urban expansion. So urban expansion, we have said that this is the physical growth expansion of an urban area. Like, for example, if you look at this diagram, you'll see that in 1980, what was happening there? It's great views. You can see the trees, what is happening, farms for sale. Obviously, when we are selling, we are expanding, we are bound to cut down trees because we want our urban area to expand. We want more land so that our urban area can expand. So you can see what happened in 1918. Now check what is happening. Farms for sale. Obviously, the surrounding areas, we are bound to cut down trees so that we expand the land so that we can be able to have the physical expansion of our urban area. That is urban expansion. That is the physical growth or expansion of the size and area of the urban settlement. That is your urban expansion. So that's what is happening here. Don't worry, we are going to go to that urban sprawl. Take it easy, guys. Let's just deal with one concept at a time. We don't want to confuse things. Let's deal with this. That is urban expansion. Let's not mix things, okay? So there is your urban expansion, which is the physical growth or expansion of the size and area of the urban settlement. That is your urban expansion. That's what is taking place here. That is what is taking place. Of course, that is the physical expansion or growth of the urban area. That is your urban expansion. Are we together? All right. Are we together, guys? If you are fine with the definition, with the explanation of the diagram, Can we grow the physical size of urban areas? Of course, we are fine. Clay is saying it is not fine. Okay, we are saying that this is the physical growth, expansion of the size or area of the urban settlement. Let me give this as an example. We are saying that this is the physical growth or expansion of the size or area of the urban settlement. As the population in urban area is increasing, there is need for more land so that we can build more houses. So this is what now our urban area is expanding in terms of its size. You understand? So that physical expansion is what we call urban expansion. That's what we call urban expansion. The physical growth or expansion of the size or area of the urban settlement. That is your urban expansion. The physical growth or expansion of the size and the area of the urban settlement. That's what we call urban expansion. That's what we call urban expansion. Are we together? Can we move on? If it's fine, can we move on? 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 Okay, sharp. So we have defined urban expansion, which means we are fine with urban expansion. Then 2.1.2, it says, state how urban expansion will change the settlement pattern from 1980 to 2020. How is it going to change the settlement from 1980 to 2020? How is it going to change the settlement? Can you see here? It was more isolated, but in 2020 it's now more nucleated. You can see here it was more isolated, but in 2020 you can see it's now more nucleated. So a dispersed, isolated raw settlement will become a clustered or a nucleated urban settlement. That's what is happening. That's what had happened now. The distance between the buildings, here it was more isolated, but you can check here it's more nucleated. They are very close to each other. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Can we move on to 2.1.3? Give one reason for urban expansion. What could be one reason for urban expansion? What could be the reason for urban expansion? Road urban migration. The road urban migration could be the reason. Number 2.1.3. Road urban migration could be the reason. The influx of immigrants can also be the reason. The influx of immigrants. The population increase in the city, which is your urban growth, could also be the reason. Remember, we said urban growth is caused by natural increase, which is your birth rate minus your death rate. So it could be due to natural increase or the road urban migration or the influx of immigrants. So that is the reason there for urban expansion. Are we fine with 2.1.3? Give me a thumbs up if you are fine with 2.1.3. Are we fine? Sharp. Let's move on to 2.1.4. Discuss two problems that arise from urban expansion. What are the problems that arise from urban expansion? The two problems, 2.1.4. What could be the problem? Overcrowding, overpopulation, high crime rate, traffic congestion, what else? Job opportunities become scarce. What else? Okay. What else? Increase in informal settlements. The increase in informal settlements, we can talk about that as well. Increase in informal settlements. The less resources because you have got a growing population versus limited resource. Okay. So with this one, I think it's fine. Can we move on to the next one? Let's move on to the next one. All right. What do we have here? 3.1. We have got this one now. That is our 3.1. Okay. So what do we have? The sketch below represents different urban settlements. Provide a letter from the sketch that best matches the descriptions below. Okay, Luyanda, All right, Luyanda is saying that we should repeat 2.1.2. Okay, no problem. Let me go back. 2.1.2, Luyanda. Okay, no problem. I'm back now. State how urban expansion will change the settlement pattern from 1980 to 2020. How will it change? Okay, 2.1.2. Can you check what is happening in 1980? Can you check the pattern there? It's more dispersed or isolated in 1980, but now check what is happening in 2020. It's now more nucleated. Can you check what is happening here in 2020? It has changed from dispersed or isolated to nucleated. That's basically what we are talking about. That is your 2.1.2. That's the changes that has taken place. You guys, you should pay attention, guys. We can't keep on repeating. We still have MapWork, guys, unless if you don't want us to do MapWork. Unless if you don't want us to do MapWork, maybe. Because we can't keep on repeating and repeating the same thing. We can't keep on repeating and repeating. We need time to start on your own as well. I don't want to take much of your time, guys. We won't be able to finish. Okay. So we have done 2.1.4. So let's do, which one are we doing now? 2.1.5. Did we do 2.1.5? State 2 possible. State 2 possible solution to the problem associated with urban expansion. 2.1.5. What could be the problems? State 2 possible solutions to the problem associated with urban expansion. What could be the solution to the problems? What could be the solution to the problems? What could be the solutions to the problems? Sort. There is the question. 2.1.5 suggest 2 possible solution to the problems, possible solution to the problem associated with urban expansion. Solutions, remember we've talked about traffic congestion. We can say that we can have lift clubs. Which means we are going to reduce the number of cars on the road. In that way, what else can we do? The issue of crime. We can have more visible policing to reduce crime. They can start using public transport. That's correct. They can remove decentralization, okay, of commercial services, which means now we are taking the commercial function of the CBD and take it to the malls. Think about the multi-nuclear model. We have got malls now. They are taking the commercial function of the CBD, which means we are decongesting the CBD. We can do that as well. What else can we do? More alternative forms of transport like cycling. If your workplace is very close, you can walk to work. Those are some of the things that we can actually do. Okay. Staggering working hours, we can do that as well. That's what we can do. Okay, let's do 2.1.6. Okay, the estate agent advertises the land by saying it has great views. Why has the expression of the prospective buyer's faces changed from 1980 to 2020? Okay, here the estate agent advertised the land by saying it has great views. Why has the expression of the prospective buyer's faces changed from 1980 to 2020? What is happening here? What is the faces changed from 1980 to 2020? We are doing 2.1.6. The estate agent advertises the land by saying it has great views. Here, what we have here, it has great views. Then it's saying, why has the expression of the prospective buyer's faces changed from 1980 to 2020? Why has the faces changed? Why has it changed? Why the Eastern agent advertised the land by saying it has great views? Why has the expression of the prospective buyer's faces changed from 1918 to 2020? What has happened as a result of urban expansion? What has happened as a result of urban expansion? Of course, as a result of urban expansion, what has happened? Can you see the scenic views that we have, the aesthetic, okay, natural sort of, but now because of urban expansion, there's been cutting down of trees, which is deforestation, which has changed the same view that was used to advertise here. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, what is this one saying? Guys, stop it, guys. Let's not compare, please. Let's not compare each other. Okay, so that's what is happening here. We are saying now in 2020, here, it was a way of advertising to say that it has great views. But with urban expansion, a lot has happened. There's deforestation that has taken place because the urban is expanding, you understand? So there is a lot of changes that has taken place from 1980 to 2020 due to urban expansion. That's basically what we are talking about. Is it clear, guys? We want to move on to the next. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yeah, all right. So we want us to go to Mapwork. We want us to stop urban, then go to Mapwork. What are you suggesting now? Because urban is very easy. It's not that difficult. Can we go to Mapwork? All right, let's finish urban then. All right, what do we have here? So it reads the sketch. Let's go through this one. Let's finish. Let's just do 2 or 3, then we go to Mapwork. The sketch below represents different urban settlements. Provide a letter from the sketch that best matches the descriptions below. Write only the letter of your choice next to the question number 3.3.1 to 3.3.7. What do we have here? So we have got B, we have got D, we have got E, we have got F and C. These are the different types of settlement that we have. These are the different types of settlement that we have. Remember, when we're talking about the different type of settlements, when we talk about the gap, we're talking about the break of bulk, we're talking about the specialized one, we are also talking about the injunction one. Do you still remember? Do you still remember the break of bulk, what we're talking about? Here, of course, there is a change in terms of the form of transport from the sea to rail or a road. So that's more of your break of bulk. Do you still remember what we're talking about? Okay. This one becomes where the road, okay, injunction, more of an injunction. That's basically what we are talking about. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. More of your gap. You can see what we are talking about. So these are the different forms of settlement that we have. Okay. So what we have here is our key. Railway line, the road, the mountains, urban center, farming, entertainment. So you are supposed to use this key just to help you. So let's check now. A settlement which is an example of a typical gateway town. Of a typical gateway town. A typical gateway town. You can see that will be your C here. That will be your C. That will be your C there. Chris, what's happening with 30 June? You guys are full of jokes, ne? All right, 3.1.1. So we have got a settlement which is an example of typical gateway. See, let's not worry about 30 June. You are writing tomorrow. Let's not worry. This is a gateway town. This C. Let's not worry about 30 June, guys. Let's write tomorrow. Then we can worry about 30 June sometime later, ne? Okay. Then 3.1.2, the settlement that provides services to predominantly farming community. From the option that we have, which one provides services to the predominantly farming community? From what we have, use your key. 3.1.2, to predominantly farming community. That will be here, your A. That will be your A. To predominantly farming community. That will be this one, A. That will be your A. Predominantly farming community. That will be your A. Okay. Okay. Then the settlement where one type of transport is replaced by another. 3.1.3, where one form of transport is replaced by another. Where is replaced by another. One form of transport is replaced by another. That will be your F. That will be your F from sea to rail or road. That will be your F. Okay, that will be your F. Okay, let me just put it like this, all right? Some of you are saying you can't see. Okay, so we have said the settlement. Okay, number 4 now, the settlement which represents a specialized town. 3.1.4. Specialized town. What do we have from what we have here? That will be your D, more specialized. That will be your D there, more specialized town. Okay. Then the settlement where injunction town can be found. 3.1.5, injunction town. Crossroads, that is your B. Guys, don't worry about the comments. Don't worry about the comments. It's normal. It's normal, guys. Don't worry about the comments. It's fine. Don't worry about that. 3.1.6. The settlement that will never develop into a secular shape. The settlement that will never develop into a secular shape. What settlement will never develop into a secular shape? You can see this one is semicircle because there is a C here. So it will never develop to a circle shape. Why? Because obviously it's restricted by this sea, the ocean. So this one will never develop into a circle shape. Okay. Then East London and Port Elizabeth are typical examples of this settlement. Obviously close to the sea at the coast. That will be your F. That will be your F here. PE and East London, obviously they are close to the coast. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, what do we have? We have this one. We can just do 2, then we move on to Mapwork. Let's do this before 30 June, guys. Time is moving. Okay, sharp. Choose the term in column B that matches the description in column A. Write only letter A to H next to the question numbers. Write only letter H to the letter A to H next to the question numbers 3.4.1, 3.4.7 in the answer book. So 4.1.1, what do we have? 4.1.1, what do we have? An urban settlement from the option that we have here. An urban settlement that provides goods and services to the surrounding rural population. What will be the answer there? An urban settlement. Let me try to make sure that you can. All right. What will be the answer is G. That is your central place. That is your central place. 4.1.1, that is your central place. Then 4.1.2, a small settlement with fewer functions, for example, a country town. 4.1.2, what is the answer for 4.1.2? A small settlement with fewer functions, for example, a country town. 4.1.2, what is the answer from these options? That is your lower order center. That is your F, lower order center. That is your F, lower order center. Lower order center. Then the minimum number of people required to support a business. 4.1.3, minimum number required to support a business. What will that be? Minimum number required to support a business. That's your threshold population. Threshold population. Threshold population. Then the area from which the business draws its customers. The area 4.1.4 from which the business draws its customers. The area from which it draws its customers. What is the answer? That is your sphere of influence. That is your sphere of influence. So we are saying this one is G. The next one is F. Then 4.1.3 is E. Then 4.1.4 we have said is B. 4.1.5, the maximum distance the customer is willing to travel to purchase goods. What will be the maximum distance they are willing to travel to purchase goods? 4.1.5. That is your D, the range. That is your D. Then 4.1.6, services that are required every day and used by the people on a regular basis. 4.1.6. 4.1.6, services that are required every day by the people on a regular basis. That is your A, lower order services. Lower order services. That is your A, lower order services. Then last one, a large settlement with many functions, for example, a city. 4.1.7, a large settlement with many functions, for example, a city. What could be the answer there? 4.1.7, that is your C, your high order center. Your high order center. That will be C, your high order center. Your high order center. Are we fine, guys? Are we fine? Let's do the last one. Then we move on to MEPWORK. Let's do the last one. Then we move on to MEPWORK. Or you want us to move to MEPWORK? What should we do? MEPWORK. If it's MEPWORK, just give me a thumbs up. MEPWORK, give me a thumbs up. All right, sharp. Let's do MEPWORK. Some people are saying last one. Let's go. Let's do MEPWORK, guys. Let's do MEPWORK. Let's do MEPWORK. All right. You guys are confusing me. Last one. All right, so what should we do now? Last activity. Let's do the last one then. Let's do the last one. Let's do the last one. All right. Last one. So this is what we have referred to the diagram below, showing the central place, showing the central place, the last one now. So you have got here the key, the city, the town, the market town, and the village. I want you to check something. How many? Okay, I want you to check something. The boundaries and everything. Okay. So, so what do you suggest we do, guys? Can we leave this for MEPWORK? I don't mind. I have to hear from you guys. Me, I can do anything. I don't mind. All right, let's finish this one. Then we can continue. Okay, so let's start. Let's try to rush a bit. Okay, what is a central place? What is a central place? What is a central place? We are doing this as the last one. What is a central place? Let's just do this, guys. We don't need even, I think less than 10 minutes will be done. It is a settlement that provides urban goods and services to the surrounding rural area or surrounding area. That is your central place. A settlement that provides urban goods and services to a surrounding area. That is your central place. What it does is provide goods and services to the surrounding rural or surrounding areas. That is your central place. Okay, what is the main function of the market town? What is the main function of the market town? What is the main function of the market town? What could be the main function? Obviously, the trade of farm products. The trade of farm products. The trade of farm products. That's what it does. The trade of farm products. The trade of farm products. The trade of farm products, servicing goods, the trade of farm product, that will be the main function. Then what is the relationship between the size of the central places and the number of central places? What is the relationship between the size of the central places and the number of central places? So in short, so that we save time, we can say the smaller the central places, the more the number of central places. The smaller the central places, the more the number of central places. 4.2.2, we have said that is to trade, the trade of farm products. That is 4.2.2. The 4.2.1, we have said a settlement that provides urban goods and services to the surrounding areas. That is your central place. That is your central place. Okay. So the relationship now will be The smaller the central place, the more the number of central places. The larger the central places, the less the number of central places. That's the relationship that we have. The smaller the central places, the more the number of central places. That is the relationship. The smaller the central place, the more the number of central places, and the larger the central place, the less the number of central places. That is the relationship there. That is the relationship. That is the relationship. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Are we together, guys? Give me a thumbs up if we are together, because we want to move on to Mapwork. We want to move on to Mapwork. Okay. Then state two differences between high order service and low order service. What is the difference between high order and low order services? High order service in terms of pricing, they are more expensive. They are more expensive and more specialized. So you can say high order, more expensive, more specialized, and your low order services less expensive and include the everyday inconveniences. So you differentiate them in terms of which one is expensive, which one is cheaper, and also giving an example. Like someone we have said, high order services are more expensive, more specialized. Low order services are what? Less expensive and include the everyday inconveniences. Okay, things that you buy like your bread, your milk, something like that. Then a threshold is the minimum number of customers. A threshold is the minimum number of customers required to support a service or a function. Determine the relationship between the threshold population and the order service. The relationship between the threshold population and the services. What is the relationship? What is the relationship? The higher the order of service, the higher the threshold population. The higher the order of services, the higher the threshold population. Guys, we are almost done. Let's just finish this, then we can start with Mapwork. The higher the order of service, the higher the threshold population. The threshold, okay, threshold population is the minimum number of customers required to support a service or a function. Okay, that's number one. Then determine the relationship between the threshold population and the order service. The relationship. So we are saying now the higher the order of service, the higher the threshold population. The lower the order of service, the lower the threshold population. That is the relationship that is there. Okay. All right. Last one, then we can do Mapwork. Explain the impact of locating a high order service in an area with a low threshold population. What will be the impact? What will be the impact? Number 4.2.5b. What will be the impact? 4.2.5b. What will be the impact? No profit. Thank you. Loss of profit, no profit. Thank you. So now let's do Mapwork. Let's do Mapwork now. We want to do Mapwork. We want to do Mapwork. Oh, yeah. We want to do Mapwork. Mapwork now. Can I give you just 2 minutes to go to the bathroom? 2 minutes, 2 minutes break, 2 minutes break. Then we start. 2 minutes break. We want to do Mapwork now. We want to do Mapwork now. Just 2 minutes. 2 minutes break. Then we start. Just 2 minutes. Drinking water. Recess. Then we start. 2 minutes. 2 minutes break. 2 minutes break. 2 minutes break, guys. I'm not going. I'm coming back. It's not yet 3rd June. I'm coming back. Just 2 minutes. Then we come back. So I'm not running away, guys. I'm still here. We need to stretch, guys. I'm still here. I'm not running away. All right, all right. All right, all right, all right. I'm back, guys. I'm back, guys. I'm back, guys. Let's do map week now. So we are going to do the November 2025 map week. We only did GIS, so we are going to do the November 2025 map week. That's what we are going to do now. Remember, we're writing paper 2. We are going to do this November 2025 map week. Let's go through it now. So when you are doing map week, guys, the first thing that you have to do, you have to make sure that you go. I'll try to slow down, guys. Let me just slow down a bit. I'll try to slow down. All right. It says general information. Go through the general information first, guys. When you are doing map work, make sure you go through the general information. Guys, please, can I ask you a favor? Can you tap the screen, guys? Please tap the screen as we are doing this. Can you tap the screen? Please tap the screen. Let's tap the screen as we are doing this. Okay. So general information is very important that you go through the general information, because you can get some information that can also help you to answer some of the questions. So let's go through it now. Emalahleni, previously known as Witbank, is a city situated on the high veld of Mpumalanga, South Africa. Emalahleni is in a coal mining area. Open casting mining is mainly used to extract coal. This type of mining involves digging near the surface of the to extract coal seams. There are a number of power stations as well as steel mill nearby which all require coal. The farmland surrounding Emalahleni is being brought by investors, coal mining companies, and the real estate developers to accommodate the rapid growth of the city, which is good for local businesses and residents. The region experiences highly polluted air due to the coal mining and power station. So what is important, guys, is you go through the background information. You must be asked about the coordinates, the province where Emalahleni is. So these are some of the questions that you can be asked about. So you need to go through the background information so that at least you can have an idea, or you can get some of the answers from the background information. So let's start now. The first one, it reads map calculations, map skills and map way calculations. Okay, so let's start now. So whenever you are doing map work, the first thing that you have to do is check the map that you are supposed to use. They always tell you use this map. So here it's saying refer to the topographical map. So it means the map that you are going to use is what? Is the topographical map. That's the map that you're supposed to use. So always make sure that you know the map that you're supposed to use. They say that refer to the what? To the topographical map. So you make reference to the topographical map. That's what you're going to use. The topographical map. That's what you are going to what? To use. Topographical map. So what do we have? Is saying you would be driving. Okay, topographical map. This is the map that we are using of Emalahleni. This is the map. We are using a topographical map. This is our topographical map. This one is our topographical map, which has got, let's talk about it, which has got a scale of 1:50,000, which is 1 centimeter on the map represent 50,000 centimeters on the actual ground. That's what it means, 1:50,000, which has got this map code as well. If you can check here, the map code 25, what does it represent? Is the latitude. 29 is your longitude. The bigger box, okay, the smaller box. That's basically, that is your map code, what you have here. I'm just saying this in general, just in general. Okay, let's go to the question now. You will be driving in a dash direction on the main road from F in block C3. Okay, where is our F in block C3? Our F is here in block C3. This is where our F is. To what? To Valley Glen in A5. Valley Glen in A5. This is where our Valley Glen is. So you'll be driving in which direction? From here. from F towards Valley Glen, in which direction will you be driving? In which direction? This is where our F is. This is where our Valley Glen is. In which direction? Okay, north, south, west, east. So it is what? Northeast. That's where our Valley Glen is from this F. Okay, so northeasterly. Let's look at the option that we have. What will be the answer there from the option that is given? Guys, come on. Someone is saying southwest. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You are driving from F to Valley Glen here in A5. North, south, west, east. So it's between north and east. That is northeast. It's not southwest, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Okay, are we together, guys? It's A. Do we all understand so that we can move on? Do we all understand? Can we move on? So the answer is what? Is A. The answer is A. Are we together? Sharp. Are we together? Yeah, this is paper 2. This is paper 2. 2025 paper 2. That's paper 2. Okay, sharp. Let's move on to the second one. The second one is saying refer to the orthophoto map. So it means the map that we are going to use is what? Is orthophoto. What is our orthophoto map? This is our orthophoto map here. This is our orthophoto map. Can you check? This is our orthophoto map. The map has said, the question has said, refer to the orthophoto map. Refer to the orthophoto map. Come on, guys. We want us to repeat 3.1.1. Guys, we won't be able to finish, guys. It's almost the time. It's around to 10 now. I also want you to start on your own as well. All right, let's go back. You are driving from F towards Valley Glen. From F towards Valley Glen. North, south, west, east. So it's northeast. Northeast. Okay, guys, let's move on. All right, so we are doing 3.1.2. Calculate the area of the demarcated area. The area of the demarcated area, feature 6 in block B3 and C3. This one, that's what we are talking about. This one, this is the demarcated area. We are calculating the area of this. Okay, we are calculating the area of this using what? Orthophoto map. So how do we go about it? The first thing, we need to know the formula of area. How do we calculate area? Area, we say area is equal to length times breadth. That's how we calculate it. But however, we have to multiply our length multiplied by the scale and our breadth multiplied by a scale. So what is the scale of our orthophoto? The scale of our orthophoto is 1:10,000. Remember, this is in centimeters. And the question is saying we should calculate our area in square meters. It's saying we should calculate our area in what? In square meters. So we have to convert. We have to convert so that we know the scale to multiply with. So we have to convert our scale. This 1:10,000 into meters, which means we divide the 10,000 by 100. What are we going to get? We are going to get 1:100 what? Meters. Which means we are going to multiply by 100. So let's measure now. Let's go through the question. It's saying now, use the following information. Use the following information. Measured breadth is 1.8. So we are already given our breadth is what? 1.8 centimeters. So there is no need for us to calculate our breadth. We are already given our breadth. So let's measure our length now. Where is our length? Okay. Just a minute, guys. This is the demarcated area. Our breadth is the shortest distance we have already been given is 1.8. There's no need for us to measure it. We are going to measure from here our length from here up to there, from where it starts here up to where it ends, we have got something like, if you can check nicely, what do we have here? We have got about 3.5, which is 3.5. If you can check nicely, this is 3.5 centimeters. So we have got our length is what? 3.5 centimeters. Do you understand this stage? So now that we have got our length and our breadth, we can now calculate our area. So how do we calculate? Our area, what is the formula? Our formula is area is equal to length times breadth. So we have got our length is 3.5 centimeters and our breadth is 1.8 centimeters. But we have to do this in meters. We have to write our answer in square meters. Guys, check here, guys. I don't know where you're getting the kilometers. We have to write our answer in square meters, and we are using an orthophoto map. So we are going to say our length multiplied by the scale and our breadth multiplied by the scale. That's what we are going to do, which is 3.5 centimeters multiplied by 100 meters and 1.8 centimeters multiplied by 100 meters. All right. Can you see this, guys? Can you see this? Do you understand this stage? Just give me a thumbs up if you understand this stage. Give me a thumbs up if you understand this stage. The first thing we are given here is our formula, but we multiply our length times scale, our breadth times scale. So this is where we are now. We have converted our scale of the orthophoto from 1:10,000 to 1:100 meters. What we did is we divided the 10,000 centimeters divided by 100. That's how we got the 100 meters. So that's now we have said 3.5 centimeters multiplied by 100 meters. And we have also said that 1.8 centimeters multiplied by 100 meters. So it's length times scale in brackets, breadth times scale. Are we together? Thumbs up if we are together. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, sharp. So let's now calculate what is our 3.5 multiplied by 100. What is our 3.5 multiplied by 100? What is our answer? It's 350, which means we have got 350 meters multiplied by 1.8 multiplied by 100 is 180. Okay? Multiplied by 180 meters. Do you understand this stage? Do you understand this stage now? Thumbs up if you understand this stage. 350 meters multiplied by 180. Okay. 350 multiplied by 180. So we are going to do this now. 350 multiplied by 180. What do we have? We have got 63,000. So we are going to get now 63,000. Remember, our area is always squared. So now this is how we are going to write your answer. Is 63,000 square meters. That will be your answer. That's how you calculate the area. So that's how you calculate the area. The first thing they give you is length times breadth. But you have to know that you multiply your length times the scale and your breadth times the scale. So you need first to understand the unit of measurement that you are supposed to write your answer in. So it means if it's in square meters, that's why we have converted our scale here 1:10,000 to 1:100 meters. That's why we did that. That's why we did that. Okay. If it's in kilometers, square kilometers, obviously we have to convert from centimeters to kilometers, which means we'll multiply with 0.1. We'll multiply with 0.1. That's what we'll do. But we have to pay attention to what they want. Here they said in square meters, so you have to stick to that. We have to stick to that. But if it was going to, if they said in square kilometers, we're going to multiply with 0.1. kilometers. That's what we are going to do. But in this instance, we have to use 100 meters because we are writing our answer in square meters. Are we together? Okay, if we are not given the breadth, someone is asking, how do we calculate the breadth if we are not given? When you measure this feature, the longest side is your length and the shortest is your breadth. When you look at whatever feature you are given, the longest is your length, the shortest is your breadth. That's how you do it. That's how you calculate your breadth. Okay. The longest is the length and the shortest is your breadth. That's how you can calculate. Are we together? Are we together? Okay, sharp. I think Pretty Boutle is fine. What do the 5 and which 5 now? Okay, are we together? Sharp. So it means we are fine. Let's move on to the next one. Then 3.1. Why is the measurement of the breadth on the topographical map smaller than on the orthophoto map? Why is it smaller than on the orthophoto map? What could be the reason? What is the measurement of the breadth on the topographical map smaller than on the orthophoto map? What could be the answer? 3.1.3? 3.1.3, oh, sorry. Why is the measurement of the breadth on the topographical map smaller than on the orthophoto map? What could be the answer there? This one. Why is the measurement of breadth on the topographical map smaller than on the orthophoto map? And topographical map is a small scale map. Okay, is a small scale map. Okay, is 5 times smaller. A topographical map is 5 times smaller. Is a small scale map, and your orthophoto is a large scale map. So your topographical map is 5 times smaller than the orthophoto. Remember, the bigger the number, the smaller the scale. The smaller the number, the larger the scale. So we are saying a topographical map is 5 times smaller. The bigger the number, the smaller the scale. The smaller the number, the larger the scale. So topographical map is small scale map and orthophoto map is large scale map. So it's 5 times smaller. Okay, are we together, guys? Are we together for 3.1.3? Are we together? Sharp. Let's move on to the next one. 3.1.4, can you see 3.1.4? No, I have said, guys, the larger the number, the smaller the scale. The smaller the number, the larger the scale. That's basically what I was saying. Okay, so let's go now to the next one. Calculate the magnetic declination of Emerald for 2025. For 2025, let's use the information that we have, guys. I know we usually use the current, which means the current year, but let's just use what we have on this paper so that I don't confuse you. Okay, because assuming that you are writing in this year, this will be the current year. That's what the assumption that I'm going to make. So it's saying calculate the magnetic declination for Emerald for 2025. Use the following information. So this is the information that you are given. You are already given the difference in years and the mini annual change. So it means the first thing that you are going to do, you have got the difference in years already is given. So you are going to take now the second stage, because how do we get the difference in years? Of course, we do it this way. The difference in years, you consider this. Are you following? This year, 2014, here we are using 2025. So it will be more like saying 2025 minus 2014. So that's where the 11 years is coming from. I know we calculate with the current, but let's just use what is on the paper so that I don't confuse you guys. But when you get your paper, obviously they are going to say the magnetic declination for 2026. But let's use what is on the paper. So 2025 minus this, that's how we got the 11 years that we have got here. So we have been given our mini annual change. So for us to get our total annual change, okay, total annual change, we are going to say the difference in years, which is 11 years, okay, then we multiply by the mini annual change. We are going to say 11 years multiplied by, you want the step by step, okay? We have said the difference in years first. 2025 minus this year that we have here, 2014, that's showing the magnetic declination for this year. So it's 2025 minus 2014. Okay, I'm using 2025. Let's use the information that is on the paper, but we always use the current magnetic declination. So our difference in years, the next stage now, for us to calculate our total annual change, that is our total annual change. Total annual change, we say the difference in years multiplied by the mini annual change, which is 11 years. Please make sure you write it in full. 11 years multiplied by 5 minutes westward. Then you are going to get something like 55 minutes westward. That will be your total change. That will be your total change. Okay. So remember, we are calculating for 2025. So we are going to take now what we have here for 2014, which is 18 degrees. Which is 18 degrees, 19 minutes west of true north. Then we add with the total annual change for us to get the magnetic declination for 2025. We are going to take what is on the map here for this year that we have subtracted from 2014, which is 18 degrees. So the MD for 2025 is equal to, we take the year, the MD that we have for this year that we have subtracted from, which is our 18 degrees, 18 degrees, 19 minutes west of true north. So 18 degrees, 19 minutes west of true north plus 55 minutes westward. That's what we do now. We have taken the magnetic declination that is here on the 2014. That's what we have done, which is 18 degrees, 19 minutes west of true north. Then we add the total annual change that we have, which is 55 minutes westward. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together, guys? Okay, sharp. So let's add now. We still have our 18 degrees. And if we add now, 19 plus 55, because these are minutes, we add them, 19 plus 55. What are we going to get? We are going to get 74 minutes. So we have got 74 minutes west of true north. But however, our 74 minutes is above 60 minutes, which is equivalent to 1 degree. Our 1 degree is equivalent to what? To 60 minutes. Our 74 minutes here is more than 60 minutes. We have to change it to degrees now. We have to change this to degrees. That's what we have to do. We have to change our 74 minutes because it's more than 60 degrees, which means we are going to get 1 degree from 74, which is 60 minutes. So we are going to end up, we are going to say 74 minus 60. What are we going to get? 74 minus 60. So we're going to be left with 14 minutes. So we are going to have 19 degrees, 14 minutes west of true north. That will be our answer. So our answer will be 19 degrees, 14 minutes west of true north. That will be our answer. Are we together? Are we together? Thumbs up if we are together. Okay, sharp. All right. Can we move on to 3.2? Can we move on to 3.2? All right. 3.2 now reads, match the column, the information in column A, which is your 6 and 7 here. The match information in column A, which is your 6 and 7, with the features in column B on the orthophoto map. Okay, on the orthophoto map, we want to match what is this 6 with what we have here, and also what is this 7 with what we have here. So if you want to understand, sorry guys, sorry, 3.1.5. Why is it important to calculate the magnetic declination? Why is it important? Why is it important? Sorry guys, your say is tired now. It changes every year. What else can you say? It changes every year. The magnetic declination changes every year. Sorry guys. Get the correct directions. It changes every year. That's correct. So are we fine with 3.1.5? Sorry guys about that. It changes every year. Sorry. 3.1.5, we have said that it changes every year. We calculate because it changes every year. It changes every year. Okay, sharp. So 3.2.1, match the information in column A with the features in column B on the orthophoto map. So this is our orthophoto map. So we are saying what we have here, the golf course, school and recreation area and old diggings, we are supposed to match it with what? 6 and 7. So if you want to understand now the orthophoto map, you have to come to this, guys. You come to this, it helps you. On the topographical map where it's written area of the orthophoto. So this helps you to understand, to have a better understanding, okay, of what is feature 6 and also what is feature 7. So what is feature 6? Feature 6, okay. Can you see feature 6? Let's check where is our 6. Where is our 6 here? This thing, where is our 6? Where is our 6? We want to find out where is our 6. Can you check here? There is where our 6 is, which means our 6 is B, which is the school and recreation area. That is our 6. Okay. Then our 7 now. What is our 7? Our 7 is our 7 on the orthophoto. This is where our 7 is here. If you check it on the map, it's a golf course, which is A. So 6 is B and 7 is A. So that's basically what you're talking about. I'm getting all this here. I'm getting the information here on the area of the orthophoto. That's where I'm getting the information. Okay. Are we together? All right, sharp. Let's move on. Refer to the street pattern in area 8 in block G4 on the orthophoto map. Refer to the street pattern in area, okay, pattern around 8 in block G4 on the orthophoto map. So we are saying now, here the street pattern here, where we have got our area 8, the street pattern, that's what we are referring to. That would be our 3.2.2, okay. So which street pattern is here? Which street pattern is this? Let's identify. That's the grid iron. That is the grid iron. You can see the rectangles and the squares that we have here. That is your grid iron. What are some of the challenges of the grid iron? Some of the challenges of the grid iron rectangle, that's okay. That's the grid iron, the rectangle, okay. What are some of the challenges? It has got a lot of intersection, the challenge of traffic congestions, okay. The traffic congestion can result in accidents, okay. So it means we have an idea of what it's all about, okay. So the question now is saying, explain how this street pattern will create challenges for commuters. We have already talked about it now. When about traffic congestion, in terms of fuel consumption, the challenges of being hijacked, you remember? So we have already talked about those are the challenges. It has many intersections which can cause delay in commuters. It also have traffic congestion which results in accidents. many intersections can result in carjackings. So these are some of the things that you can talk about. So this is something about your grid iron. Okay, so let's identify it here. Let's identify here road rage. This one is the what? Which grid? Which pattern is this one? This one. Which grid pattern is this one? Which one is this one, guys? The one that I'm pointing at, which one is this? That is the grid iron, isn't it? Okay. Okay, how about this? How about this? What do we call this? What do we call this? Irregular. Thank you. That is the irregular. So you should be able to identify the irregular and the grid iron. These are the most common. You should be able to identify the irregular and also the grid iron. Okay, sharp. Let's move on. Refer to the symmetry in at G in block D2. The symmetry at G in block D2. This is the symmetry, okay, at G in block D2. This is the symmetry that we are referring to. At G in block G2, the symmetry here. Okay, symmetry, you can see that's what we are referring to. Okay, so the question is saying, identify the land use zone in which the symmetry is located. Identify the land use zone in which the symmetry is located. Which land use zone in which the symmetry is located? That is your 3.2.3. Which land use zone where our symmetry is located? Which land use zone is it? A land use zone where the symmetry is located here. That's where the symmetry is. Which land use zone is it? Symmetry. Can you see it's on the edge, on the periphery, which is more like your what? Your rural urban fringe. Your rural urban fringe. Can you see? It's more like your rural urban fringe. Okay? It's your urban fringe, sorry. It's more of your what? Rural urban fringe. Are we together? Rural urban fringe. Okay. That's where it is located. Okay? The rural urban fringe. Okay. I'm talking about here. The rural urban fringe, that's where it is located. Rural urban fringe, that's where it is located. On the outskirts of the city, rural urban fringe, that's where it is located. Are we together? Okay. Then, why is the land use an answer 3.2.3, which is the rural urban fringe, a suitable location for the symmetry? Why is it suitable? Why is it suitable? Why is it suitable for the symmetry, the rural urban fringe? Why is it suitable? Land is cheap, more open space. Land is cheap. Okay, so the rural urban fringe, guys, you find it on the periphery of your urban area. That's how you find it has got more space. It's also flat. Of course, you can talk about that. What else? Land is flat. It's accessible to the rural and urban communities. It's a quiet area. The aesthetic appeal. So you look at all those things. You look at all those things. Okay. You look at all those things. All right. Can we move on to the next one? The next one. Guys, no pollution for the symmetry, guys. What are we saying now? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Refer to the open cast. This is more economic geography, guys. This is more economic geography. All right. Okay, let's just do it. Refer to the open cast mining placed at H. Open cast mining here. Open cast mining placed at H. Okay, at H. Then it says in block D1 in the topographical map and general information, identify one type of transport infrastructure found at the open cast. One type of transport infrastructure that is found at the mine. What do we have here? Of course, we have got our railway transport. You can check here if you want to understand what railway look like. Okay, let's check railway. Of course, that's your railway here. So we have got railway there. What else? We have got also other roads here at H. We have got other roads. Where am I getting that? I'm getting here other road here, other road, and also railway. So we are looking at the transport that we have here. We have got the railway at H. We have got other roads. These are the transport that we have. That's what we have. It's saying identify one type of transport infrastructure found at an open cast. We have got the railway. We have got other roads here. That's what we have. That's what we have. We are talking about 3.2.5. 3.2.5, guys. 3.2.5. Some of you are saying we can't see anymore. So we are doing 3.2.5. What mineral is mined at the open cast? What mineral is mined at the open cast? Remember, from our background information, it's coal. From our background information, it's what? It's coal. From our background information. Okay. Then what else do we have? Refer to the industries in I on block C3. Industry on I in block C3. Industry, this one. Block C3, the industry here. Okay. Can you see? Okay, the industry in I in block C3. The question is saying, state the physical factor that makes this suitable location for this industry. What is the physical factor that makes this to be what? Suitable. The natural fact that makes it to be suitable. What do we have? We have got flatland. You can see flatland. How do you find that? Obviously, you look at the contour lines. Obviously, your heavy industry is far away from the what? The CBD. Of course, it's far away because it develops more horizontally. So it's where the land is cheap. It's more flat. There's more flat land there. There's available land as well. So these are the physical factors. Flat land. Okay. Then what are the economic advantages of this industry to the local population? What are the economic advantages? They provide employment opportunities. Provide employment opportunities. What else can you talk about? Increasing the buying power. Obviously, when people are working, they have more money, then it also helps in a way. All right. Let's do GIS. Guys, remember, I think in one of the lives, we did this together. In one of the lives, we did this together. This is the last part. What is data layering? Data layering. That's the concept that we are looking at now. What is data layering? We did this, I think, I'm not sure when it was, but we covered this. So let me rub it off so that I can add so that you will understand. So we are saying now this is the concept of data layering, where we have got the layers of information are placed on top of each other in order for us to create map. That's what data layering is all about. So we have got a layer that covers vegetation. This one, obviously, the river, that's your drainage layer. So we have got this layer, the vegetation layer. Then we have got also what? We've got the drainage layer. Why am I saying the drainage? Rivers, drainage layer. That's what we have here. That's what we have here. Then, that's what we have. We have got the vegetation layer. Then we also have what? The drainage layer, which shows the rivers. Let's organize the information according on a map. Okay, so here you are supposed to organize this information according to what we have on a map. Refer to E3 on the topographical map. Let's look at what we have in E3. E3, we have got in E3. This is E3. What we have here, let's organize it according to the way that we have it on a map. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do it. These different layers, the vegetation layer and also the drainage layer. You're supposed to put these two layers. That is your data layering. So you are going to integrate these layers. Okay, what you have here and what you have here is supposed to be put on this to facilitate the process of data layering. So how are you going to come up with something like this? Obviously, on this side, you have got something like this. You have got something like this. Then it goes like this, then it goes there, then obviously it goes like that. Then what else do you have? You have got here something like, I'm gonna put it like this, then it's more or less like this. Then on this other side, what do you have? You have got something like this. Okay, then it comes here, all right, like this. Then here, obviously, by the corner, you have got something like this. Then here, what do you have? You have got these jaws coming down like this. So this is how you can actually do your data layering. So obviously, this is going to show you your what? Your drainage layer. Of course, this is your vegetation layer. We are checking, combining, integrating what is here and what is there. That's what we have done in order for us to come up with this. That's basically what we have done. So data layering, this is when you put information on top of each other, or you place it on top of one another in order for you to create maps. That is your data layering. You put information on top of each other. That is data layering. We have got a layer that shows the vegetation. We have a layer that shows the drainage. So this is put on top of each other in order for us to create map. The same way that what I'm trying to say is, when you look at this map, what it makes it possible for us to have this map is, we have got this map that is made up of different layers: the infrastructure, the drainage layer, the topography. So all that makes up the map. The question is saying, let's start with 3.3.1. 3.3.1. What is data layering? The process of putting the layers of information on top of each other. That is what we call the data layering. There, okay? Data layering, you can write now. Data layering refers to when you put information on each other. That's data layering. That's the simple. Okay. Then the next one, name the data layer at B. This is drainage layer. 3.3.2. That is drainage layer at B. Drainage layer, because it's showing non-perennial water. That is your drainage layer. Okay. Then redraw the layer C on the on the sketch above on the answer book. Apply the layers A and B. That's what I have done here. I have combined this layer and this layer to come up with this. That's what I have done. That is your data layer. I have combined the vegetation layer and the drainage layer. That's how I've come up with this. So I've combined this and this to come up with this. That's what I've done. So it's saying redraw the layer C on the sketch above in the answer book. Apply the data layers A and B on the sketch. So I've combined the vegetation layer and the drainage layer. That's how I came up with this. That's how I came up with this. Okay, sharp. So the last one, refer to the open space in block E3 and E4. Block E3 and E4. Okay. Block E3 and E4. E3 and E4, we are referring to this E3 and E4 on the topographical map. That's what we are referring to. Block E3 and E4. These two. Okay. So the question now reads, the open space indicates that buffering is taking place in order to limit urban development. Name two pieces of evidence on the topographical map that support the need for this buffering. What is buffering? What is buffering? What is buffering? What is buffering? Demarcation of an area. That's what we refer to as buffering. The demarcation. That is what we refer to as buffering. I want us to know what buffering is before we answer the question. Okay, demarcation of a land, of course. That's buffering. So the question is saying name two pieces of evidence on the topographical map that supports the need for buffering. If you look at these two, these E3 and E4, what supports buffering there? The need for buffering. What supports the need for buffering? You can check here, you have got sinkholes. Can you check here? We have got sinkholes. We have got subsidizing ground. It calls for the need for buffering. We are looking at this. Okay. What else? Okay. The non-perennial water, obvious, it needs also buffering. So thank you guys. I think this has taken us to the end of our live. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. This has taken us to the end of the live. Thank you so much. Before you go, can you tap the screen before you go? Let's get to 100K. 100K. You can tap the screen before you go. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before you guys, just tap the screen, guys. Let's get to 100K. We are on 78 now. Let's just tap the screen before you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, we tried, guys. From 7. Uchamaye pila kadi 8. Guys, come on, come on. This is the thank you that I'm getting. Yeah. Yeah, is it the thank you that I'm getting? What is up? Is it the thank you that I'm getting? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Kita tsamaya pila, ne? Kyalebo. Kita tsamaya pila. Okay. Can you tap the screen, guys, before you go? Can you tap the screen before you go, guys? We are on 88 now. Let's get to 100K. Let's get to 100K. Let's get to 100K. Let's get to 100K. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you also for attending this live. Thank you, guys. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. At least you have got something to remember me with when I live on the 30th. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. 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 I really appreciate 97. Now let's get to 100K. Someone is saying refuse to go. Hey, who am I to refuse? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to check the pictures of the activities that we have done. Then I can just send it. I'll send it now. Thank you. I'll send it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Someone is saying let's get to 110. Yeah, let's get to 110, guys. Let's get to 110. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, guys. I appreciate. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Someone said that we should get to 110 before you go. 110. 107. Bye. You can start now, guys. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload them here on TikTok. I'll take the pictures and upload the different pages on TikTok. I'm going to upload here on TikTok. Because like now, if you are going to send message privately, I won't be able to get to all of you. So I'm going to upload them here on TikTok. I'll just take the different, all the activities, then I'll send them once. Okay, I'm going to send them now on TikTok just now. I'm going to send all of them just now. I'll take the pictures and send them. Just now. I'll upload them on TikTok, guys, because obviously I won't be able to get to all of you. I'll upload them just now. All right, thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Let me upload those questions. I'm going to upload them here. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Morning, I'll be sleeping, guys. Yo.